Okay. All right. Let's do this. Hi, chat. How are we today? Hey, Petra. Thumbnail is correct. Latios F tier. I don't know if I'd agree with you. I mean, I used to be a Lati hater, but I might be a believer now. I might be a believer, no cap. I might be a believer now, but is your shot you're doing this without me? I mean, do you want to, Addison? Do I need to get you in here? You literally just DM me that on Discord as well. Um, I guess I can have you. I guess. Like, wouldn't be ideal, but I guess. I guess I'll have the Queen of Draft League. You're doing well. That is good to hear. Great to hear. Nice to see you, Aquatic Naturalist. Nice to see you. Okay, Addison, I gave you a role, so you should be able to join the call. Oh, you just literally called me on Discord. Okay, I guess that works.
It's actually hilarious that you thought that you'd be able to like make this tier list
Without you, I mean,
but,
I
it's cute. It's really cute.
I thought about inviting you, but I was scared you were gonna say no. So I was like, okay, I'll just do it on my own, I guess. Yeah, the other mother has entered the chat. Yeah, there's 2 mothers now in here, which is crazy.
It's a lot of mothers.
Double the mothers there was before. But I guess I'll have you on. I guess you can have some okay opinion sometimes. Sometimes. But how are you feeling after the game?
Oh yeah, well I just had my DCL game. I feel okay. I was like watching the replay a bit, and I actually think I don't know.
I think
good.
yeah, I think you played well in pretty
good.
much, yeah, in all of them. I know the Shell Smash, like, it was like so obvious that they were gonna go for Shell Smash, and your play was always to stay in, because even if they do smash, you can go Rotom or
No,
something.
the thing
But
that I'm reviewing is that like I think there were a couple turns he could have gotten Blastoise in earlier to Shell Smash, and I basically couldn't do anything about it, and he just like didn't see them
didn't
and
do
he
that.
didn't do them, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if he played perfectly and better, then I would have lost, but he didn't, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if there's probably some plays you could have done differently. Nobody plays
Yeah,
the game like perfectly, anyways. It's fine. When you missed double Hydro Pump, though, I was like, yikes.
yeah.
That was a yikes moment for sure. But we take
You know
those.
what's not a yikes moment is these mons here.
These are, I mean, so basically what I did is I took like the top, I think there's like 30, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 12 13 14 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35. So I just took like the top Pokemon that I found on the tier list, and I was like, okay, I'm just put them and we're just gonna sort of like rank them. So initially I only wanted to do top 20, but then because I put 35 mons, and like we have the band tier, can't really hear her. I guess it's because I have, yeah, you know why? I definitely think I know why. Is that better, chat?
You've actually silenced me, and I think that's really.
It's because I have you on the same track as the as like the music, and I had to lower the music, and now I was like,
I see.
okay, is it better, chat? Let me know if it's better.
Is it better?
It has to be better.
Tell him it's better. Tell him it's better.
Tell me if it's better, chat. Or otherwise, I will literally just make Addison louder in Discord.
Scream. What?
Okay, maybe don't scream, because I don't think Discord will pick that up. But I mean, I do have you at 150 in Discord, so hopefully it's
really
better.
Am I quiet when we're on calls? Am I quiet?
I guess, yeah. Is it better, chat, or is it good? Because one thing is better, the other thing is good. Because if it was better and before I was silenced, then might be too better. I don't know what that means. She is louder now. She's too loud, because she can't be loud sometimes.
Thanks.
Is she louder now? I mean, is it okay, chat? I mean, if you.
I love that there's someone in your chat just named Businessman.
He's a man of business. Honestly, I respect him.
What kind of business does he conduct?
It doesn't matter. All of the business. Any business you can think of, he's He's in it.
So much business
A
to
bit
attend
too loud?
to.
Okay, yeah, no, I feel that. So that's what I feel every time I'm in call with her. It's like, God.
But that's clearly not true if you had me at 150% on Discord.
Okay, I'll put you back down to, I guess I'll have you like 110. I don't know. I should have tested this before, but this was a
Crazy.
last minute like addition, so.
Which it shouldn't have been, to be fair.
To be fair,
so.
yeah, it shouldn't have been, but a bit too
How's
loud.
it sound now?
Serious business? Yeah, he's a very serious businessman. Very,
I've never
very
had
serious. I mean, I guess you being here, you can add a little more insight as far as the showdown scene goes as well, because my Wi-Fi brain is not fully able to comprehend some of the Pokemon.
Yeah, I tend to have a bit more experience with 8mon as opposed to like 11mon.
To like an actual draft, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll work it out. So the way that the way I envision this working is obviously anything we think that should be banned, whether it be in like 8mon or be in like normal draft leagues, put them in the ban tier. Top 5, we only really want 5 Pokemon in there because obviously it's top 5, so there can only be 5 Pokemon in there. Top 10, we want another 5, so it's like they're not top 5, but they're top 10. And then top 20, we can have like 10, and we can have like not top 20s, and then we can have fraud. And there's definitely a couple Pokemon here who are definitely on fraud watch. And I guess, and we're gonna do this all without taking Terra into account, because I know on Showdown high tier Terra is a thing and everything, but on Wi-Fi we don't do that as much. So we're just gonna Terra's off the table. We're not taking Terra into any consideration whatsoever. We're just binning it completely.
No Terra at all.
No Terra at all on anything.
Okay.
No Terra on anything. So do you want to? Okay, I mean, we can start with we'll just go in order, I guess. Yeah, I think that's perfectly fair. Actually, I want to start with Dragapult because I want to know what your opinion on it is. Is it definitely a ban?
I think
it's definitely a ban
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think Dragapult, generally speaking, has a high skill ceiling. I think it's easy to draft Dragapult and do really poorly with it. But I just think it's very unguardable, like in like nearly every situation, to be honest. If you have the right game plan. Once you get 1DD up, it outspeeds the entire meta. If you don't have a good fairy type, it like 2KOs entire teams. Its speed is pretty much like obviously the best, right? So it's an incredible revenger. It slots every single role, like near perfectly. I used it in PPL season 1, and I like honestly used it quite poorly. Like I don't think I used it very well, and I still like got carried by it.
The other thing is like as Businessman pointed out, it's also like not very fun to prep against or to play against, just because it can be so many different things, and like you need to get information, but sometimes it might be like too late. And because it can realistically do everything. Unguardable is literally and it like its abilities has really good abilities and everything. Like it's just I guess it is ban worthy. Like I don't think on Wi-Fi, like you said, like even you didn't use it to like its fullest potentials. Like on Wi-Fi, I'm not sure if I've ever seen anybody just use it and just be like, okay, yeah, this thing is.
But I think it's
broken.
easy to look at a mon and compare it to something that we see as like definitively broken because it sweeps all the time, like a Greninja, or something that like constantly punches holes because it's really, really strong and like maxed out in that one area, like Chi-Yu, right? Like Dragapult isn't either of those things. It's not a mon that is like gonna like be the ultimate breaker or the ultimate cleaner or the ultimate anything, but the fact that it can be literally anything in itself makes it that much scarier, if that makes sense. So that's why it really says it has a high skill ceiling. With a mon like Chi-Yu, which we could talk about later, like it doesn't really matter how good you are at the game, it's going to do the same thing.
It's click buttons.
Dragapult takes a little bit more mentality to enter with games in, but we're assuming you're entering the game with like a high caliber player here, and I think like it's just Yeah.
Yeah. Do we agree, chat? Would everybody have Dragapult banned? Because I would probably have it banned, but again, it's like, I guess what you said is right because we don't usually see Dragapult get like 4 or 5 kills every week, and so we may go ahead and think like maybe it's not that broken, but I think the main thing is just because it can do so many things and information is so important in Draft League that it being able to do like so many different things is actually a bit of problematic when you're prepping with it. So I guess I want to get that one out of the way first, just to sort of know your opinion.
Yeah,
but we can go. I mean, Landorus I has fallen off a cliff. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
Without the ability to boost its speed with like rock polish, it's not really that. Sweeper, still gonna hit. Did it lose any like super relevant moves?
I mean, it lost knockoff, right?
Yeah.
And knockoff is pretty bad. I've seen some like people try and like cope by running like crunch in like Bronzong matchups.
Bronzong matchups, yeah. I've seen that. Probably done that.
I mean, it's also lost other things. Like it has lost like explosion, and it's lost like I think it's lost a couple other like random little techs.
Yeah.
The thing with Lando I is it's not fast enough anymore to be an offensive juggernaut, and it's not bulky enough to be like in the same realm as like Lando T. Even like I just noticed that Lando T is not even on this list, and I think Lando T is better this gen than Lando I. They're probably around the same, but like I think for your ground type you want utility, and Lando T is going to do that better.
Its power level isn't as impressive, I guess.
Yeah.
As it once was. It's definitely I wouldn't say it's a fraud, right? I wouldn't say it's a fraud.
I wouldn't fraud, but I also like would not put it in
it's
the
definitely not a top 20.
It's definitely not even top 20, yeah.
Yeah, definitely not even top 20. Yeah.
I mean, it depends what you define as top 20, right? Like, yeah, no, it's not top 20 at all, actually.
No matter the definition you go with.
I'm like
actually,
doing the math, not like, yeah.
Yeah, no, we're gonna definitely have Pokemon who we can always come back to it and like adjust it if we end up needing to have something move into the top 20. We can definitely go ahead and do that. And I guess I should clarify what I consider as a fraud. I think what I would consider a fraud is a Pokemon that's like priced usually pretty highly and that people regard pretty highly, but I just think that it's just not very good at all. Especially, or not good for like the amount of points you're paying for it, I guess would be the main thing. And Lando isn't priced usually that highly anyway, so I guess it wouldn't be a fraud. Kyurem I think is just gonna go into the same tier, right? I don't know if it breaks into the top 20.
It's really interesting because sorry, I'm gonna nerd out just a little bit.
Nerd all over us.
The Kyurem was like I think 15 points in DCL, which is the team tour, really high stakes team tour that I'm competing in. And it was only drafted on one team out of like, you know, between 4 different drafts. So it went undrafted in 3 and was only on one team. But that team is also the most successful team right now, like period, in the entire like tournament. So I think it just is very like, you gotta really have the right partners for it.
Does it have
like,
Terra on that team or no?
It's not Terra, no, but it's like Glow King, right? So you have chili reception support into like Kyurem, so really bulky. I think that's just the thing though, is like it's okay. Obviously you have the loaded dice set and you have all that other stuff, but ultimately those things are quite niche. Like the Dragon Dance Ice Scale Scale Shot set is quite niche, it is. And then the fact that you want to pair it with like a Snow Setter is also quite strange. It can be effective if you've like really positioned it the right way, but it's not consistent in the same way that like a Tusk would be or a Tornadus would be.
So what you're saying is you need to have like a lot going like around the Kyurem to.
I think it needs a lot of support to succeed. Yeah, it's not a mon that can like do well by standing alone. Like it's a mon that needs those pivots, needs like that offensive support. that team I'm talking about also has like webs on it as well, which just like adds to
Yeah.
the like,
Okay.
levels of things.
Yeah.
So
So the team is
ridiculous.
constructed really well around Kirim. Yeah, because the thing is like it's slow, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
95 is like super slow in this meta. It lost Roost, so it really lost the ability of being that bulky, just annoying Pokemon that never dies.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean it's fundamentally changed from like a tanky attacker
mhm.
to just like an attacker, which it was never, which was never its best set.
Yeah,
Obviously, you have things like loaded dice, which like make it a little bit more effective, but like you
yeah,
know,
exactly. You
it
have to
doesn't.
build around it for it to be like a valid, like really strong Pokemon. And also loaded dice. Like I've never seen so many like Dragon Dance Kyurem's, and I guess loaded dice really came to help it because of Scale Shot and Ice Skull Crash. So
Yeah,
makes
I would
sense.
say not top 20 for now. Like it hasn't
Yeah.
been performing very well in like high stakes leagues either.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not huge on it currently.
Okay. Yeah. No. I am huge on Greninja though. Like I'm very Greninja pilled. I don't. Without seeing what else would potentially go into this tier, I am tempted to put it into like top 10 because I rate Greninja like really really highly in the current meta. Just because it can be a
Oh,
breaker with Protean, can be a win con pretty much every game with Battle Bond. If you want Hazard like Suicide Lead, you can do it. Elite Speed tier is super important. It does have priority, so I'm. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm super like high on Greninja, and I would
so
probably say, without
when
looking at what's
when we say like top 5, top 10, does that exclude the bans?
um yeah, I would
Like
say
like
so.
like is pull part of top 5? No,
So
right? Because
yeah,
it's
no,
banned.
these guys are banned. These guys do not enter the top 5. They are like they're too good to be top 5.
So
They're absolutely banned.
if we were considering like Terra abilities,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say top 10 for Gem. But the fact that like for example like Tornadus will be lower, um,
Yeah,
because it can't Terra, I would probably put Gren in top 5, believe it or not.
top 5.
Um,
I mean, you know what? I'm Greninja pilled, so I will definitely not say no to that.
I just feel like I'm like again, obviously some of the best mons are like, are Terra, and we're not
Mm-hmm.
thinking about Terra, right? We're
Yeah, we're not
talking
taking Terra into
mons
consideration at all.
themselves outside of their ability to Terra. And Gren is like one of the most effective like sweepers,
Mm-hmm.
one of the most effective breakers as well. Like Protean is also real
Yeah.
without needing to Terra. Obviously Terra benefits it, but like it's one of those bonds that you can take. And so something that was really interesting is like when we had our Greninja team, we were like, okay, we'll draft Greninja round 1,
Yeah.
and then like if we get a better Terramon down the line, that's fine. Greninja's still going to be broken, and if we don't, then we can just
Then we
Terra
just make
Greninja.
it. Yeah, we can make
You know
the
what I mean?
Greninja Terra.
Which is a
Yeah.
cool like level of flexibility that we've been able to have. Um, so it's like top 5 to me, right? Because obviously, like I think there's certain things below that I would put in the ban category, and I'm just trying
Mm-hmm.
to think what would I allow and put
Yeah.
above Greninja, and I can really only think of like 3 mons or so, which I won't
That's
say.
fair. That's fair.
Like,
Yeah, no, we can adjust obviously, but top 5,
mhm.
I'm down with that. Chad,
That's my gut right now.
do you think Greninja's top 5? Because I was gonna say top 10 just because I wasn't exactly sure what we were gonna put like in the top 5, but realistically looking at it, I don't see 5 Pokemon that I would say I would put above Greninja. So maybe top 5 is right. We can maybe order this like
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm
if
just like
Greninja is like
looking at
number
the
5.
mons. What's
Yeah.
better? I just don't know.
Especially with, yeah, without Terra, 100%. What is better than Greninja? No, I'm happy with that because I absolutely love Greninja. I pretty much draft it whenever I can, and as long as you hit Hydro Pumps, then you're vibing.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
just land 5 head. Um, Sneasler. So I've seen a lot of people call for fraud on Sneasler, but I think it's also because they're expecting Dire Claw to. Well, I think it's two things. It's because one, they're expecting Dire Claw to get a status like every time, and second, I only see them using like unburdened sets, and we're just like trying to use it as like a late game cleaner when we can be running like banded with Gunk Shot and just killing stuff instead. So I don't. I would definitely not consider it as a fraud. I would definitely say it's like within the top 20, right? I think I would rate them. I would rate it higher than the two that we have in not top 20.
I definitely think it's higher than Kyurem and Lando. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing that people don't realize about Sneasler is its natural speed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like 120 speed in this meta is absolutely incredible. And also you're thinking about the things that it's revenging, right? It's revenging Roaring Moon, it's revenging the Ogre Pawns, it's revenging Enam, it's revenging the Lotties, it's revenging a lot of things. Yes, you can do the weird like Mickey unburden like
Yeah.
stuff,
That's the only
but
thing I see people do, honestly. Like whenever I see a Sneasler drafted,
yeah,
it's on a
it's
Rillaboom team.
television.
Yeah.
Because the reality is if you have a Mon that can come in for free with the right pivots, it doesn't matter if you have grassy terrain or whatever. If you have a Mon that can come in with the right pivots and click a move that not only does like a ton of damage, but also has like a 50% shot to like absolutely destroy your opponent's game plan if they're not holding like a very niche item.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that's really
Yeah.
scary.
Even
I
then,
think I think
it's forcing them to run Covert Cloak, so they can't run the
Exactly,
Thickness
yeah. I
Barrier or
mean,
whatever.
it's one or the other, right? It's like you're either forced to run the item or, you don't and you
Yeah.
lose. It's not like the case of like Mirror Herb, where like if you bring a Shell Smash Mon, and a Mirror Herb's revealed, the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
Like if a Covert Cloak is revealed,
It's
that's
whatever. Yeah.
fine. It's still a Sneasler that's doing a shit ton of damage, right?
Yeah.
And getting pivots and like so I think you're spot on in the fact that like people are tunnel visioning on like
The
maybe
Unburden.
what it should only be doing like a third of the time,
Mm-hmm.
if even that. Because like Sneasler should not be sitting in the back of the
Yeah,
game.
exactly.
It should be just be clicking buttons.
Yeah, it has like really high base power stabs. Just fucking click it. Even if you don't want to run Dark Claw because you don't want to be disappointed, just run Gunk Shot and like on a band set or like even Poison Touch, you U-turn and then you're poison touching something and then maybe the check is now poison and the next time they come in they take a Gunk Shot plus poison
Yeah.
plus rocks or whatever and then they can't switch it again. Like I think there's so much more value in Sneasler and I always see it drafted with terrain, which isn't necessarily bad
I
because
don't
it can
think it's bad.
enable.
I think
Yeah,
I
it can
think
enable the
Rotom is
Unburden
a
sets,
great
but
partner for it. But just the fact that like you're constantly tunneling yourself into that box is so bad.
yeah, I would agree. Would you? I think top 20 for now is fine,
I think
right?
top 20 for now, but to be honest, I think it's kind of hovering around like maybe like the 12
Mm-hmm.
mark or something. So we'll see like where it ends up
Yeah,
falling. It might
where
be
we ended.
potential.
Hello, Kip. Welcome onto the stream. I put Houndstone here because obviously last respects and it's just been allowed in the PPL. And at the start of the season, I saw everybody freak out like, oh, why would you guys allow like Poltergeist on not Poltergeist, Last Respects on like Houndstone? It's gonna be like so broken. And obviously it's just one season, so we maybe can't base it all off of that. But Matt has said multiple times he's hated it, and it's just very clunky to play with because you basically have to sack your team to be able
I
to like
yeah.
use Last Respects. I think, but sometimes you're better off just running like Poltergeist and something. So for the amount of money that you would have to, I guess we'll see it like tier differently now that
Yeah.
it's been around. But for the
I
amount of
mean,
money that he paid for it, it's definitely a fraud.
I love Matt to death, but like I don't trust his opinions on Mons
Okay.
as like, a ton. Like, do I think that Houndstone is like a terrible mon that should be like 10 points even with last respect or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Like, definitely not. Um, I to be honest, this is the mon on this list I have the least amount of opinion slash experience slash anything on. My one experience with Houndstone was doing like a little like test league very early in the gen, and then it like tricked a ring target onto my normal type and then just swept me with last respects because I didn't have a resist
Oh.
anymore.
Okay.
So like yeah, like that's my experience with it.
Yeah, it's a very niche
Um
set.
very
Last
niche.
Respects is usually like just banned out, right out banned, right in like
Yeah.
tournaments
Well,
and
that's
stuff.
the thing that's interesting is I kind of am curious not to like DM an SV regular because it's kind of banned universally.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think it does make sense for it to be banned in 8 mon because in 8 mon obviously like you can only roll compress
there's
unless
less. It's,
whereas in like 11 mon you can kind of like slap on a normal or slap
mm-hmm.
on a dark somewhere.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I think Uzi has like a Zangoose, right? And if he was
yeah.
drafted in 8 mon, he wouldn't have a
He's not.
Zangoose.
Yeah, he's not having a
Obviously has
Zangoose
a
ever.
Zangoose. So I think the reason it gets banned in showdown leagues is because it's so like it's so fishy. And when I say fishy, I mean like matchup fishy, which means like, okay, either it has the greatest matchup in the entire world, it has an uber levels
Very
matchup
polarizing.
because your opponent's like resist is like a Weavile or a Greninja, or it has like the worst possible matchup ever because it's, it's normal type.
They have
uh
a decent normal type, but I don't know. They have like
they
Inner
have
or
a
something.
decent normal type, yeah. I think the issue is, again, it kind of gives Spectre syndrome, where if it is allowed in 8mon, it's going to force people to draft like a normal type,
Yeah.
and then the meta is going to get super stale. So like maybe people don't necessarily think that it's broken on the showdown scene, but if it is allowed, it's going to skew drafts in a way that's going to like completely destroy the meta.
Yeah, no, in
Um,
8mon I can definitely see it just being like outright banned. I don't know if there's any like high level like draft leagues going on that would end up like allowing it, because I would definitely think there's a case for allowing it. Like you said, it's not like a 10 pointer, but it's also not like in PPL it was priced like super high. Like I have the tier list here. Where was it priced? It was priced next to things like if this loads, it was priced with a bunch of like high tier Pokemon. Like it was priced with Greninja and Garchomp and Great Tusk and stuff like that.
yeah,
So uh
I I think if it was allowed, there would be very few people who would actually like take it right away.
yeah.
But I also think it might bend the meta way too much in 8mon. Now, obviously, like I said, in 11mon or in Wi-Fi or whatever, you have so many different mons on your team, so you're more likely to find an answer.
Yeah.
These are usually mons that you're not going to see in like high-level tournament
Yeah.
play.
I mean, based on the very, very limited experience that I had with Houndstone as well, which is basically just PPL, I would definitely classify as a fraud because it costs like 23 points, and I think it's gotten like 2 kills the entire season.
That's
So,
fine. I mean, to be honest, like I don't even like enjoy including Houndstone in this conversation because it doesn't feel like it's a mon that
yeah.
actually is in Scarlet Violet. So it
Yeah.
kind of can go in that category. It's just like
It's just,
I have
yeah.
no idea.
I literally just included it because it was like one of the. I would just went down the tier list and literally included all those Pokemon. Greninja
Yeah.
in top 5, is it based on worth per points? I mean, worth per points, yes, and just like its
Yes,
overall
and yes.
level.
Like name 5 Pokemon that we haven't talked about yet that are better.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I
That
don't think
aren't going
so.
to go in the banned category. I
Yeah.
don't know. Doesn't make
No,
sense. We're also not counting Terra. Like
exactly. Yeah, there's
none of these ones can Terra.
none of these Pokemon can Terra. Yeah. Annihilate was like obviously when it first came out, it was crazy. Everybody was freaking out over it, and now I rarely see it like get used that much. I don't even. It's definitely not good enough to be like the best Pokemon on a team. I don't think. I definitely think it like if anything you
I don't
have
even
it.
think it's top 20 to be honest.
Yeah.
I think like especially with like a bunch of new ones that came post like the
The
first,
DLC.
what is it called, the DLC or whatever,
Yeah.
like obviously like you didn't have like many legendaries and stuff, and you have a lot of legendaries that are like flying types, psychic types, etc. So like you have again like the Lotties, you have like Enam, you have things like Torn, you have all of these things that Annihilate just like can't do anything. Like it's if it can't Terra, then it just gets revenged, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Um, so if you're able to get something to like slow pivot out, it doesn't really matter how many times you've hit it because you're gonna have them on that like attacks it. I think the best Annihilate sets, honestly, right now are like Choice Scarf, and then um,
Like what? Like AV.
like well, or like like Custap or like Salic or something, right? Because right, its speed is just so slow.
It is, and it's also like if you're playing somebody who's pretty decent at the game, they will know not to like needlessly just trigger like Rage Fist boost on Annihilate. Like they're not going
Also,
to be
like
U-turning for like no reason or you
like
know.
huge like callback to the video we did together. Like Encore is just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
This meta, right? So Bundle is always carrying Encore
Yeah.
most of the time. I'm just looking at like Valiant is always carrying Encore. I mean, it can kind of just kill with Moonblast, but say it's like a Terra. It can,
You can
have
encore it. Yeah.
Encore. Ogre Pawn, same deal. So like, it doesn't actually like, I don't know. It doesn't
It's much
sweep
harder for it
anymore.
to
At best,
to
it claims
sweep.
1 for 1. So
Yeah. No, its typing is really really cool for sure, but the fact that it kind of needs to get hit with to like boost Rage Fist to be able to like use its best
That
move is,
too, yeah.
you know, you're kind of like you're always trying to like play this very specific game where you're trying to enable Annihilate for like a late game when you could just be like imagine if this thing got like Poltergeist, that'd be sick.
Mm.
You could just be clicking that instead.
Again, and I'll go back to DCL stats again. Zero drafts.
Zero drafts for Annihilate, yeah. No,
So
I
four
figured.
full-on drafts, and it went undrafted every single time.
Yeah.
It was only 14 points.
Jeez.
So,
I mean, do you think with Terra it's that like Terra definitely makes it like much better, or
I
you
think
still
Terra
think-
makes it better because it subverts the thing that I'm talking about, right? So if I'm just looking at like a random tier list right now. Valiant, Dio, Gren, Darkrai, Meowscarada, Bundle, Torn. So I've just named probably about more than half of the bonds in the first 3 tiers.
and they're all just
And they
faster.
all just revenge Annihilate. Obviously having like a good Terra like subverts that. But you know, the thing with like Terra Annihilate is like ultimately you're just gonna have other Terramons that are better, right? Like,
Yeah.
If we were making like a Terra tier list, you're gonna find at least like 16 better Terramons than Annihilate.
Annihilate.
Terra Annihilate probably won't get picked up
I feel
in
that.
most drafts, even though it is quite decent. Also like Terra Ghost, Terra Blast is actually really nice on it.
True,
well.
that too, yeah. But yeah, the cookie cutter like bulk up, drain punch, race fist, like resto chesto sets that we used to see a lot at the start. They just shouldn't work against like a pretty decent player because of like the fast encore and everything. So I feel that the ogre pawns, like I'm not really sure what I think about the ogre pawns. Is the fire one the best one? Is that the consensus because like mold breaker and stuff, or honestly I have no idea. Which one is like the water one better?
So if we're talking about non-Terra ogre pawns, I think the water one is the best one by far.
Okay.
Because it just has a better typing.
Yeah, and it's also
isn't
immune to water.
susceptible to, like, stealth rocks or anything. Whereas ogre pawn fire, I actually think is kind of a fraud.
Really, the fire one?
Yeah, I mean you can't guard against rocks, right?
True. Yeah, you can't run an
And
item.
you can't be scarf to like outpace things. Like arguably, like it's. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but arguably to me, it's the worst of the 4. Like if you're at the not Terra ones.
Yeah, no, I can respect that. I've always heard like the fire one is crazy because like mold breaker, which means you can just like spam Ivy Cudgel, and like obviously mold breaker has like very niche applications, but
I mean, it's literally just Heatran, right? And that's not even like a thing.
Or like I don't know, like a Colossal or whatever. I don't know. Usually, that Pokemon usually gets drafted in draft leagues, but realistically, the downsides it has are like very big because being weak to rocks and not being able to do anything about it is obviously a huge dampening to its ability to like stay around. And it's not like 110 is like super fast either.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like it just doesn't really like accomplish much. I just don't think it really like.
That's fair. Yeah, and then the water one would just be like not top 20. While it is the best of the ogre pawns without counting Terra at all, it's probably on the same level as these guys in no particular order, but same level as these guys. Is Speed Boost Blaziken a fraud?
Probably yeah. I think it was 12 points in DCL and also
12?
never got picked up at all. Yeah.
And never got picked up. Okay, no, that basically confirms it's a fraud. Chat, Speed Boost Blaziken's a fraud confirmed. If at 12 points nobody picked it up, then we need to stop pricing it next to like some of these like big guys.
Also, fun fact about Speed Boost Blaziken as well. Obviously, like it was 12 points. Ha ha ha! It didn't get picked up. But it also is allowed to Terra, and everyone was like, "That's crazy."
Jesus.
And Uh, and no one picked Terra Blazing Up either, obviously. So
Yeah.
actually, that was not me. That was someone
I
else.
was gonna say, like, I don't remember you doing that, but the fact that that happened at just like one point in time is obviously crazy. Looking back at it
Oh
now.
wait, yeah, I did do that in my league. I thought Petra meant that like I was the one who drafted the Ogre. No, yeah, I was like, oh, it doesn't seem that good,
Yeah.
but I was definitely wrong. But I also wasn't wrong in a way. Like, okay, yeah,
You were definitely wrong.
I
11 points for all four.
I misunderstood. Yeah, obviously, like it shouldn't have all been like together. But like I looked at the mods and everyone was like, "Oh, they're broken," and I was like, "I don't think they are." Like, and to be honest, like on individual like levels,
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, every single Ogrepon except the water one, like not Terra, is like no more than 12 points, if even that. Like,
Non-Terra. Okay.
so like, and maybe the water one is like 15. So like to me, it's like,
I mean,
I
I
don't.
do like the water one. The water one's pretty cool,
I
but
like. I actually do think, individually speaking, outside of the water one, every single one of those Ogrepons is 11 points. Um,
that's fair. I mean,
mm,
yeah, and that's what we did with PPL as well. Like, we just made like we made Ogrepon like super expensive, but Alex could basically have access to all four. And honestly,
mhm,
it wasn't that crazy either.
yeah.
So definitely not 11 points, but that
No.
was early. That was right when they came out anyway. So who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Um, I really like Gladios. I think Soldew is an insane, stupid item. I think
Mm,
Luster Purge being base 95 with a 50% chance to drop your Spadef is also like absolutely crazy.
mm.
And I don't know. I would probably. Would I have it in my top 10? I don't know. I really like Gladios, depending on what else ends up coming here. But I definitely. I rate Gladios like super highly. Whenever I play it, it's always a nightmare
I
to prep
I
against.
would consider top 20. I would probably put Sneasler above it. But I do think it's good. I think it's underrated right now.
Yeah, because like I thought like Luster Purge was like base 80 or something, like base 85 or whatever. And then I was
Yeah, but
prepping for it the other day and it was
the
base
issue,
95, so it's like stronger than Psychic, and that's like an insane secondary effect.
the issue with Latios is it's like defensive typing. Like it is kind of again easily revengeable by a lot of the meta's like current threats, like a Valiant or an Iron Bundle or a Darkrai or a Gren and stuff. Like there's just a lot of Meowscarada, same deal. Torn.
Yeah,
And again, call mindsets aren't great anymore because they can be encored, um, or they can be, slow pivoted out into a faster mon. Um, yeah, so I think it's good. Like, all right, DCL check. It was
DCL check.
undrafted by any team,
Okay,
which is like kind of crazy.
maybe I'm just Latios
Like,
build.
I think that's kind of crazy. Like, I think it should have been.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, thinking about it, it's definitely not top 10 because right, it shouldn't be the best mon in your draft either, right? Like, but
No,
it's
especially in
definitely
8 mod, it should be like your third best mod, even
yeah.
that.
But like in a
Um,
regular draft league, like can definitely be like a strong second round pick, but
yeah,
definitely not top 10.
yeah.
I
I
was
think
pilled.
when it came out with Luster Purge and people were like drafting it like middle of round one, I was like, that's a bit extreme.
Okay, fair.
It's good though. It's a good mod. I just wouldn't call it top 10. Like again, I'm looking at these mods at
The
the
rest of the
bottom.
ones, yeah, the rest of the ones in yeah, but no, I really like Gladius because even if it's just like agility weakness policy sets and stuff like that, just to like pop it on a
Mm.
U-turn or something, uh, always like super scary. Um,
It's kind of similar to Curum in that it's dependent on its support, I would say.
yeah. Okay. Well, would you Torn? We're putting it into uh, looking at the
Might have
rest
to
of
top
it.
10.
Looking at the rest of them, yeah. Because I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 Pokemon at least. 4. Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah, not top 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say top 10. Because to me, it's like,
It's a
it's
it's
probably top of top 10 or it's probably like 6 or 7. It's in my mind definitively the best Terra. Obviously, if that's
Terra.
not what I'm thinking, so.
Yeah. Yeah, because I always see it whenever I'm watching like showdown content or whatever it is. I always see like Terra Torn. I'm like, is it really that crazy? But apparently it is.
Yeah,
Apparently it is.
it's pretty nutty. It's a nutty guy.
I mean, Torn has always been the goat since it came out, just because it's so fast. And like for generators, because I was watching your game, right, and I was like, oh no, Torn is down at like 6% or whatever. Because I think you got hit by, like, you switched in on something, you took a bunch of down. I was like, oh no, Torn is down at 6%, and then Psych, you switch out like twice with Torn, now you're like 60, and I'm like,
That was
okay,
awesome.
that's fair.
I was done. I had taken like a volt switch and I was at
Yeah,
3%
it was that
twice, and I managed to get back up to
like 60.
It was like 63, right?
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, because you literally 33% or 30% recovery every time you switch out. So you're literally back at 60. It's actually an insanely good ability.
Yeah.
Especially on like a fast like pivot Pokemon like Torn.
There are certain mons. It can be a conversation we have after we're done, but there's certain mons on this tier list that I think I would put in top 20 that aren't on this tier list.
That's fair. We can have that conversation.
Yeah.
We can have that conversation after.
Missing one.
Vepsis goes, Torn T is still really good, and then C-Kip next one, Torn is washed this gen. Literally polar opposites. The duality of man.
I mean, it's Torn. Like it's gonna be like reliable.
It can never be bad, right? I don't think it will ever.
If you're using it, it's only good if you're not like an idiot. Because what idiots will do is they'll run like nasty plot hurricane, and then like it'll miss,
and then and like, oh shit,
and then it's like, wow, this one's useless. Like Torn is a pivot.
Yeah, the Torn sets I've seen you run have been like crazy. They've been like no stab. They've been like super power.
I mean, I'll literally share like the 2 Torns that I've been. Obviously, this is Gen 8, but like the 2 Torns that I've run so far are like max HP, like some speed, and then a bunch of Spadef with like knockoff Iron Tail U-turn taunt, and then very similar set, max HP, some bulk, max speed, superpower knockoff U-turn taunt. So literally just basically
like
the same,
no stab, yeah.
It's just taunt, no stab, like not risking missing. Like it's just that can come against everything and be a demon.
Yeah, so it can literally never be bad. I mean, last gen it was like definitely like top 3 or whatever.
My take with it is in Gen 9 is like if you're gonna draft it and it can't Terra, it needs to enable some other like insane offense. Like that's the thing. It can't be your offense because it isn't.
I get that. Yeah, it's the Pokemon that brings in the offense, not the offense itself. Because like you said, then you run Nasty Fly, then you click Hurricane and you miss, and your trainer race dies, and you're like, oh, this Pokemon sucks.
But just like think about it like a team that's just like Torn Latios, right? Like Torn easily pivots on like the Rotom Wash, and then you have a Specs Latios in front of Rotom Wash or something like that. Like I don't know, it's just like if your Torn is doing like Nasty Plat Focus Blast or something, hit that Rotom Wash, then you're using it wrong.
Yeah, unless you run Wide Lens, right, Vepsis? You run Wide Lens and you just hit all your moves and then Torn like 6-0s. That can happen sometimes. Whereas Gliscor on this list, Gliscor is not on this list. I will refuse to have that conversation even. I will not.
There's an infinitely better ground type that is honestly potentially top 10 that's not on this list. That's crazy to me. But...
Really? Okay. Well, we'll get to that in a second because I'm actually curious.
Maybe not. But
as to what that is.
It might be.
Well, like Lando T?
Tinglu.
Oh, Tinglu. Okay. I mean, I guess Tinglu. We can talk about Tinglu real quick. Just because like it's a defensive Pokemon, so people would not consider it like as a like, oh, I need to pick this guy up like round 1 or like like it because it doesn't have that offensive presence.
I mean, I guess it depends how we're qualifying what is a top 10, right? Are we counting it based on when it should be picked in the draft, or are we talking about like its quality in itself?
I would say, yeah, it's like it's raw quality compared to like, I mean, what it can offer for what it's usually priced, and is there other Pokemon that can do what that Pokemon does, if it does it better, if it does it worse? Not necessarily like tied to like when you should pick it. But just like it's raw ability. Yeah. I mean, I can download a Tinglu PNG. We can add that boy. I think I can.
Well,
can I add it? I think I can.
Thing about Tinglu. So Tinglu was in a 19-point draft was 16 points. In the 16-point tier, it was drafted every single time. And what is this? 5, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So Smogon put it in the top 15 mons as is,
Hmm.
and it was drafted every single time. So I think it shows that like the support that it gives is like unrivaled.
It's unique.
It's
Nothing
literally
is
the
doing.
best support mon that you can pick up, period, in my opinion. So
Where was
I don't know.
Ting Lu in the P?
Maybe it's
It's
top 20 or like top of top 20, but I would rate it over like some interesting mons.
interesting. Why is Dragonfly at ban? It's not even that good for real. Tacos, are you high right now or tacos for real XD? Either that or
If
just go
you don't
back in the
think
VOD.
Dragon Ball is good, it's because you're bad, is my take.
It's not even
Like,
that good. Yeah, no.
high skill
Saying
ceiling.
saying it's not ban worthy, we can have that conversation. Saying it's not good. Yeah, that's a little crazy. This is I think this is the water Urshifu with this stance. I only had it here because again, when it was allowed and Joey picked it up, everybody who isn't used to playing with Urshifus in Draft League kind of lost their mind. Like, why would they allow this guy? It's not even like S tier. They put it in A tier, so it means he can pick up an S tier. Whatever. But like, Urshifus are just like they're good Pokemon, but they're
So
not. They're just not like. I don't. I don't. I don't. They're not that good. They're not ban worthy. They're not. They're not top 5. They're not top 10.
Are you ready
not even
for my?
top 20.
I disagree with you, so I'm gonna hit you with the
I mean,
disagreement.
hit me with the
So
the knowledge.
I got 2 takes for you right now.
Okay.
Take number 1 is I actually think Rapid Strike probably edges into the top 20. I think it's probably at the back end of top 20. Personally. I also think Urshifu Rapid Strike is better this gen than Urshifu Single Strike.
I was gonna say I agree with that. I agree with that. I 100% think it's.
I think Single Strike probably just barely gets out of top 20, and Rapid Strike just barely gets into the end. I would rather have Urshifu Rapid Strike than, I don't know, probably any of these guys.
Quackball is better. Y'all just scared. I mean,
Also, I don't think Wellspring is not top 20. Like, I would put Wellspring above, like, even Lando, maybe. I don't know.
but do you think it should still be in this in the
Probably
not top
tough.
20 category, or I mean,
Rapid is definitely top 20, I think. I think Ogerpon might breach into top 20, but I would put it at the top of not top 20 for now, is I guess what I'm saying. I don't know if like things are ordered intentionally or anything like that.
No, not within the own tier. I mean, we can go back and do that if we want to, but not.
Then yeah, maybe keep Ogerpon in the not top 20 then. Honestly I don't know much about it.
Fair. But Rapid Strike's better than Single Strike, which I can absolutely agree with that take.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna
Single Strike is
see, because
Single Strike is not good.
I came into this tier list with the idea of having a conversation for this guy being in fraud just because of where it's usually tiered, because it's usually like either the most expensive or like the second most expensive on the Pokemon on the board.
If we're taking out, I mean, Terra Urshifu is like, it's decent. I think I think there's quite a few Terramons that are better than it. But ultimately, if you're not tearing it, it's fucking useless. It's so bad.
Yeah, the speed really lets it.
The speed is so
really
low.
lets it down. Yeah.
Even
People
if you're a Scarf set, you don't have enough speed. Like it's
yeah.
still...
No, a lot of times you'll have like people were losing their mind when they saw they got Trailblaze. Like, oh, you can do like Swords Dance Trailblaze sets, and that's just like a whole bunch of copium.
Swords Dance Trailblaze is utterly useless because every matchup you're facing like, I don't know, like booster speed Valiant or booster speed Roaring Moon or a Iron Hands that you can't touch or like anything. Like it's just not it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Wicked Blow did get nerfed this gen as well, so that's something. But as Webs has said, like if you put Scarf on Urshifu, not only are you going to be like slower than a lot of things, That's a lot of power you're missing on as well. Because
Oh
like
yeah, like
Scarf
it
just
just
doesn't hit that hard.
because yeah, like either you're lacking a CC, which like isn't very good to
Hmm.
do.
Teams always have
um,
a psychic type or a fairy type or
yeah, we
whatever,
always
flying
do
type.
be like fighting
Yeah,
resist, or you're locking into dark, which on paper is the more spammable attack, but Wicked Blow's just so fucking weak now because
it's
of the
not
nerf.
that strong. Yeah,
So weak.
yeah, and because everybody just will get a fairy type because, of course, locking yourself into Wicked Blow may not be.
But
And
like
then
I
also,
also like it's dumb to narrowly like just say okay, well you can have a fairy type to switch into it.
mhm,
Like Gen 9 is so offensively paced, it's less about oh what is your defensive switch in as much as it's like how easy is it to just revenge this mon and like force a KO in front of it. And like the reality is if you throw a Valiant in front of an Urshifu like single strike, or you throw a I don't know anything in front of an Urshifu
even
single strike.
Meowscarada can revenge kill. Like I just played Q and I had a Meowscarada, he had an Urshifu. I
Great point.
literally just low kick it and it just KOs like from full.
Or play rough.
Yeah,
Fucking
or
base
play rough. Yeah,
player
literally play rough
playing KO. So yeah,
if you
to
want.
me it's
Yeah,
like
it's very easily revengeable.
it's very easily revengeable, and I don't feel as though it's that great
I
personally.
think so, Petra. I think the water one was better in VGC. Also, the water one gets the full boost from the Punchy Glove item because it boosts Surging Strikes, but not Wicked Blow, which is a little weird. But that item is...
I think Rapid Strike's decent though.
Yeah.
I think Rapid Strike should start being tiered higher than Single Strike, but I
Single
think
Strike?
people have too much like Gen 8 PTSD that they don't want to do that
Yeah.
yet.
Because in PPL, we put Urshifu... we put Urshifu Single Strike as the second most expensive.
Yeah, well that's because Jack doesn't know how to like tier. So like it's just that's
We all
it.
collectively tiered it, so... I
Yeah.
guess... but that's the beauty of it. You just learn from your mistakes, and then Urshifu Rapid Strike was like A tier. Urshifu was like on the same level as like the Wellspring. They were tiered like basically the same.
That's a little silly. Like I don't know.
I guess that's why Joey went with round one because he saw it wasn't even an S tier; it was an A tier. So I guess it's pretty good value. But
Yeah, it was
point being
just
is,
the
I don't
weird
think they
way.
should
It was
be.
the weird ways that you all like did your
Mhm.
like it has to be this one S and this one A or whatever that it became really valuable to pick up the best A tier.
Yeah, which is I think I picked up one of the best A tiers, like potentially the second best A tier, which we'll get into that in a second. But
Oh.
Urshifu should not be banned. And Rapid Strike is better than Single Strike, chat. You heard it here first.
Yep.
Type 1 if you agree, but I definitely agree. I definitely think Water 1 is better. So I put Ursaluna Blood Moon here only because it was like high on the tier list, and I wanted to add Pokemon. But honestly, I've not seen like Ursaluna do much. I don't know who had it in BBR, but they had like the Slowking team with like Kyurem, and they had Blood Moon, and they kept like Trick Rooming into Blood Moon, and Blood Moon just kept killing everything. That was pretty cool, but
I just won a draft league with Ursaluna Blood Moon.
You
Which
did?
was the battle league, yeah.
Oh.
The thing is it was not good.
Oh.
Its issue, I don't know. So the thing with Ursaluna Blood Moon is like everyone tells me that its best set is like max HP, max Bdef, Calm Mind, Moonlight, Blood Moon plus Earth Power or something, right?
Yeah.
And it's just so slow, so it's hard to like get the Calm Mind off and then Moonlight back and then kind of be in a sustainable position.
Yeah. It's not like its defensive typing is great either.
Yeah, it's not like its defensive typing's great either. You're weak to fighting, you're weak to water, you're weak to all this other stuff.
Ice.
The set that I found by far, that was most useful, and I'm not memeing here, is
Custap.
literally like Custap. Like
Yeah, I
Blood
already
Moon
knew it was coming.
in your Blood Moon, and then you get 2 powerful Blood Moons off, and that's your breaker. That's what you get. And it's like, cool, that's fine, it works. Is that top 20 material? Probably not. The other thing about Ursaluna Blood Moon is if you're drafting it as your like ground type. And if that's the case, then your ground type doesn't have stealth rocks, doesn't have hazards of any sort, and you're left kind of clawing for hazards elsewhere. And it kind of puts you in a strange position.
I agree. That's maybe why I haven't seen much of Ursaluna, maybe because it just isn't that good. But yeah, it does get Vacuum Wave, which isn't even stab, so it's like how often are you realistically running Vacuum Wave on Ursulin anyways? I guess it's not top 20. Now, Meowscarada. So Meowscarada is the A tier I picked up, and I definitely think that this Pokemon is as good as an S tier. I don't know if it's because I'm using it, but I rate this thing freaking high. I think
I think it's top 10. I think it's better than Torn.
I think it never has a bad matchup. I think it's just one of those Pokemon that you can always find a set to like make work. Like this season, I haven't even used like a Sash lead with like spikes and stuff like that. I've just always been like in some sort of offensive set. Against Matt, I was like banded because he didn't have an ice resist, so I just clicked banded triple axle and I just killed everything like Corviknight. So like
DCL just had one of the highest caliber matches recently between two people who are considered like top 5 Scarlet Violet players. And Meowscarada was like kind of sitting in the back, and we didn't really know what it was or what it was doing. And it just ended up being like fast, banded Protean play rough, and it just like swept the team because like there happened to not be a fairy resist on the team or whatever. And it's like looking at the team comp, you can't predict that. Like it could be literally Scarf, it could be anything. Like so like with Protean, you have a lot of interesting things you can mess around with. You have a lot of cool mind games, and then just in general, its speed's massive. You can discount the fact that it has all the utility, like spikes and taunt or whatever, and that alone, in my opinion, puts it in top 10.
When you add it,
the extra spikes and stuff, I guess, gets it a little bit further up. But like, be honest with you, anytime I'm ever using Meowscarada, I've never gotten to use it in Drop League before, but if I'm like mocking someone with it, it's knockoff, it's U-turn, it's coverage move, and it's something else. It's just the 4 best coverage moves that
because most of the times I've cut like Grass Stab. I haven't even ran like Grass Stab because like Flower Trick is a pretty good move, but Grass is not a great offensive typing, obviously, unless
it's typeless, right? Because it's every type and it gets stabbed in every type, right?
Yeah, I guess. So,
you know, you can run completely typeless sets, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, Meow or Gren, definitely Gren.
But
only worrying thing about is statics and flame bodies. Yeah, I've noticed that I've had to run like pads on Meow a couple times whenever I face like a Zapdos or a Talonflame, which it's not the end of the world.
You don't have to do that.
But what if you get paralyzed and then you're like your fast Pokemon is just like not fast anymore?
Just healing wish it.
Just healing wish it. Yeah, because Heal Bell isn't even in the game, so it's like literally just healing wish it.
It's true though.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed
I think Meowscarada will end up actually being like a number 6 on the list.
Meow is better than Torn because it has a way easier time to revenge kill. Yeah, I mean, Greninja has, again, like near perfect coverage for everything. It even has Thunder Punch if you want to be degenerate like that. But just click Triple Axle. Just click Triple Axle. Tusk, defo top 5. This is the Pokemon I want to use the most.
Tusk is probably top 2, right?
Yeah.
It's Tusk.
I would say, yeah, I mean, definitely like top 3. I would definitely, depending on what's allowed, definitely top 3. But this is the Pokemon I want to use the most because whenever I face it, it's so scary because like one rapid spin, like a speed boost, and like it could be Jover, but also it's just like an insane spinner, fat as all hell. Like it's just a good ground type. Like it just does everything. It's just like literally roll compression in a Pokemon. It's trash but better.
So bad. I'll be right back.
Okay, you can go. We'll wait. We'll wait. I'll wait. Won't do another Pokemon. Pulling up to the function with a special Meow set. You know what, Petra? I did think about running like a special Meow for like Talonflame. Like this week I play Jack Gravy and he has a Talonflame. I thought about running Power Gem, but like, why do I not just set up rocks and then knock off the boots so it has to take 50% when it comes in, and then I can just like click Triple Axe and kill it? Obviously, I'll be like pads, but like running Power Gem for like a Talonflame, that's just such copium. Especially now that it gets Triple Axle, like against the Zapdos, I'm running Triple Axle. I'm not hitting the fucking Power Gem button. There's no way. You can pay me enough to run special because it just gets like near perfect offensive coverage. So yeah, if you have never used Meow Chat, I would definitely advise you to do that. Also, chat, we have like 24 people in here, but we have like 11 likes. So I need you guys to lock the fuck in. Like, what's going on? Why are we not liking the stream? I don't understand. Do you guys not like me? Is that what it means? Got like 24 people in here and like 11 likes. I need you to lock in, chat. Special Meow is funny though. I mean, it is funny, but is it super viable? No. I'm personally a Treads guy, but Tusk is an absolute beast. Treads is definitely fantastic. We'll get to that in a second, but I think Tusk is like way better. I think it's definitely levels above it. JRicky hates fun. No, I don't. What I hate is when people don't leave likes on the stream. That's what I hate. That might be up there with things I hate. No, we hate you. Honestly, I hate you guys too. JK, that's right.
Me, that's so cute.
Yeah, I did wait for you. 100%. Yeah. I was just telling the stream to leave a like because we have like 25 people in here and like 14 likes, so I don't
Yeah, why the fuck have me like stream, you little bitches?
Yeah, math isn't mathing here, but
you little bitches.
I mean, do you want to say anything on Tusk or
Tusk is like one of the most like unbelievably boring mons in my opinion. I think it's so fucking boring, but
because of how good it is.
What it does, right?
It's probably drafted like so much, like especially in 8-mon. It's probably like on every fucking team.
I mean, so in 8-mon, the name of the game is role compression, right? So you're constantly looking for a breaker, you're constantly looking for hazard control, you're looking for like a good offensive piece to center things around, and you also don't want to like force your Terra in any of those positions. And the fact Tusk is so good without having a Terra, like, allows you to get like a really good Terra round 2. But like just the fact that it role compresses like so many things, it's kind of like Tinglu in that way.
Yeah.
It just makes it like an incredible pick.
How many DCL teams do have Great Tusk?
I mean, all of it. I think Great Tusk was picked second in every single draft.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably.
Yeah.
Like on most of them. Why is Heartflame on Fraud Watch? Because it's the worst ogre pawn, I guess. And because PPL priced it like super highly, like the fire one.
Yeah, I think Ogrepawn Fire is arguably the worst if you're thinking not Terra. If you are thinking Terra, then it obviously is the best.
It's yeah, but we're doing no Terra. I would put all the Rocks weak mons on the list in Fraud Watch. Okay, this guy hasn't found out that heavy duty boots exist yet, or like
maybe not for Ogrepawn though.
Not for Ogrepawn. That is true. Not for Ogrepawn. Not for Ogrepawn.
That's kind of why Kyurem's kind of rough too, because in order for Kyurem to be good, it can't be boots. You know what I mean? Like it can't be.
Yeah, it needs a ton of support.
Yeah.
So, Treads, top 10. I picked it up and like at the start when I picked it up, I was like, oh god, this Pokemon sucks. Like the first couple of matchups, I had like a really hard time finding out. Like,
I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm not going to enjoy this Pokemon. Like,
it just has to be boosted or whatever.
Week 2, I was thinking already about like dropping Treads, but I've kind of like learned how to use it over the last few weeks, and it's quite enjoyable. Depending on like what other Pokemon we end up putting here, it might not be top 10, but
it's probably top 10 to be honest.
I think because of the roll compression, because like it's a worse Tusk, but
it's roll compresses everything.
It's literally it's very consistent. You want a steel type, you want a ground type, had one of the best hazard controls because obviously it resists spikes and it can't get poisoned by T spikes and anything like that. You stopped being bad with it, Ricky? Yeah, I actually did stop being bad with it because the first 2 weeks I was like, this Pokemon horrible, I'm not using this. But I ran like AV, I ran Boots, Booster Energy, stuff like that. It's just like super reliable on Treads. Like it's just one of the best spinners because it's like immune to T spikes, doesn't take barely anything from like rocks, and then spikes doesn't. So it's really pretty good. Pretty good. I'd recommend Treads. I think Meowscarada Treads has been like really fun this season so far. Yeah,
it's quite effective. The other like Treads is really just good with anything, like Treads Darkrai, Treads Greninja. Like if I'm looking at the Iron Treads teams in DCL, it's what is it? It's Treads Greninja, it's Treads Meowscarada, Treads Torn.
Because that's a pretty nice speed tier as well. Like 106 is.
And Treads Gren, yeah. So you just kind of pair it with a fast one, and it's good.
Yeah. My personal favorite was when I ran weakness policy on it, and then I missed a Thunder. That was tragic. But
why the fuck were you Thunder?
Because he had a Skarmory. Matt had a Skarmory, and I was like, it would
Just
actually
volt switch on that thing.
no, but I wanted to win the game with it. But it was actually gonna work. But I missed Thunder on Zapdos. If I didn't on the Galarian
Right.
Zapdos, like if it didn't miss, I would actually just win the game from there. It was
Crazy.
we got robbed of one of the most incredible moments of my draft league career, but maybe I deserved it for bringing Thunder.
Volt switched personally.
Nah, but that wouldn't have been as fun. Like I was like booster energy, like rapid spin, iron defense. To like set up on the Skarm, it pops my weakness policy. I thunder it, I kill it. Oh, it was great. It would have been great, but
iron defense, rapid spin, body press, thunder.
no, I wasn't body press. I was EQ. I didn't have body press.
This sounds like the worst set I've ever heard. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like
It-
that sounds actually true. That sounds like definitely not the optimal set to bring.
It was though. It was. We just missed the thunder, but for all
Okay.
purposes, that was 100% the best threads I could bring at that moment. So you need to watch that. It was actually insane. Treads was actually gonna go crazy, but it's unfortunate. Anyways,
If someone lost to that set, I would not be able to respect them as a draft.
that was Matt. He
Oh,
almost
no.
lost to that set. That was Matt. He almost lost to that set. Like that's when I brought banded Meowscarada, so like Meowscarada like killed Skarmory anyway. So the I didn't need the thunder, but it would have been hilarious. And Electro Ball was in question at one point as well, but then we decided to go thunder because
Okay.
Super Cell Slam isn't a real move. So and like
Hmm.
who's no, we're not. No, I'm not volt switching. I'm clicking thunder, and I missed. It was unfortunate.
I'd like to move on from this ridiculous universe we found ourselves in.
It was great. Chat, let her know how great it was because it was actually insane. It was really funny, but I
I'm gonna
missed.
choose to believe that I haven't heard this.
If it landed, it was over. It was. All right. Gouging Fire. Pokemon's kinda
probably like
stupid.
in the Sneasler category.
You think so?
I mean, like,
had
okay.
so much fun using it when I had fucking
It's
Sun.
great. So Uzi like messaged me during PPL and was like, "I just got gouging fire. I don't know what to do. Help me." And I'm like, "Uzi, I got you." Like gouging fire, like sun.
Yes.
He was like, "Oh, I hate sun." I was like, "Okay."
You shouldn't have picked the Gouging Fire then.
Did you draft gouging fire?
And
he was like, "I don't know." And then and then I was like, all right, well, you can do this other stuff. I think gouging fire is kind of a noob killer, if that makes sense. Like it's one of those mons that like
Are
preys
you calling
on
me a
like,
noob? It literally got 6 kills against me because I got Iron Head flinched.
yeah. Well,
Are
there
you calling
you
me a
go.
noob?
Yes.
That's rude.
I don't know. Like it's good, but it's also like it's very situational. Like you will have matchups versus like Alamomola or versus like other water types where like it's unusable.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it being weak to rocks obviously sucks, which is
It's weak
the
to
main
rocks,
problem.
yeah.
The
It's
main problem
badass.
with drafting it on a Sun team is like most of those guys will be weak to
Yeah,
to
like Sun
rocks.
teams obviously just have to be
Yeah.
so fast paced.
Yeah.
And then if you're using it kind of this like kind of bulky supportive piece
Yeah.
with like green potential.
Yeah, like
It doesn't really
I try to put like
offer
Cyclizar and like
team.
Hatterene on a Sun team to like try to not have rocks go up and like reliably spin,
Yeah.
but then I changed the team and it definitely felt way better. But it was so,
I
like
think
week fun of PPL. Like I had so much fun just clicking. Like I put
it's
down the
great.
controller. I just clicked Raging Fury and let the controller do the rest. And I just like killed Primarine and everything.
It's great. It's really good. It's just like yeah, I don't know if it's
It's
you
top.
know,
It's a top 10.
best thing.
That's why Uzi
Yeah.
got Aloe. Probably, man.
It's
Like
just
Aloe.
its matchups are so inconsistent is the thing. Either it has like really terrible matchup or it has like demon matchup, and then the other thing too is like it doesn't add anything to a draft in terms of like utility. Like it adds a potential win con.
Yeah.
But it doesn't add like hazards, it doesn't add speed, it doesn't add anything. Like it's just kind of fat and that's it.
Yeah, I mean Uzi used it a lot, like off lead with like a booster energy, and, like to put on early game pressure. Like it's fine, but
It's decent.
yeah, you do miss out on then like the sweeping potential. Which
But I could do that with like a ton of different mons, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I don't even know how pricey it was this season. I mean, it was pretty pricey. It was the
I
same
think
as
it's pretty
like
pricey. Wi-Fi really rates it highly. And
Mhm.
I think it's like fine, but I don't think it's like top
Yeah.
10. I feel like Wi-Fi thinks it's like top 10. Like Ellie asked me like for opinions on this upcoming draft
Mhm.
that she's doing, And she drafted Gouging Fire round 1. And I was like, okay. And then like round 2, Greninja was there. And I was like, what is this?
That
What
should
is
be
this crap?
reversed.
She was like, yeah, but Gouging Fire is broken, so I had to get him. I'm like, and you didn't get like the top 5 mon, but then it came back the other way around.
It worked out in the end. Yeah. I mean, gouging
Yeah.
is obviously it is ridiculously strong, but maybe it is just the Wi-Fi.
No, I don't mean it like that. I
No,
just mean to say that I think
it's
when
valued
push
way
comes to
way
shove, it's
higher.
kind of forced into fatter roles
Yeah.
sometimes. And then if it's forced into more offensive roles, you have to be really good with like hazard removal. You have to be really good with like good support and pivots and all that stuff.
It is funny because I think like while we're basically playing the same format, I feel like the showdown and the Wi-Fi meta are like very different, and I think that's like that's like
Yeah,
interesting conversations.
I think
Um,
it is too.
because there's no way like I think Owen and King L5 were talking about on the podcast they do about gouging fire. I don't remember exactly what they said, but I would not be shocked to believe like that like the showdown scene doesn't rate gouging fire that highly, and then
I don't
everybody in
rate it. Like,
Wi-Fi
I mean,
is.
I literally was just like mocking K Crick, my like captain
Mm-hmm.
in DCL last week, and he was facing Gouging Fire, and it was literally just like obliterating him. Like, we know that it's a scary
I mocked him for that
human mod.
as well.
It's just that like it's not consistent, like I said. So
Mm-hmm.
like again, you might just have a matchup where
It
it's
goes
so
crazy. Yeah.
and
And
then you
usually
might
from like your round 1 pick, you usually want something that's consistent through like matchup to
yeah.
make sure you're getting the
Like
most value for
if you
your
look at all the
points.
top 5, top 10 mons, those 5 mons we have in that category right now should come to every single matchup ever.
Yeah.
Like whereas Gouging Fire like will just have matchups where it's terrible.
Yeah. You probably still bring it because it's gouging fire, but
Maybe I don't know.
you definitely probably could deal with bunching it. Yeah,
But it doesn't offer utility like the other 5 do, and it doesn't
Mhm.
offer speed like the other 5 do. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's just a breaker. It can be fat, I guess, but even those like fat sets could be a little awkward depending on the matchup, right?
Mhm.
Because like if they do have like a bulky ground type or whatever as well, then it becomes like pretty tough to consistently navigate. I mean, we'll leave it in the top 20. It's better than these guys, right? So, I mean, this is in order. Anyways, Bolt. I know Terra Bolt is like insane, but non-Terra Bolt is
Not terrible. I think
it's
is like
just,
in
like,
Kyurem
okay.
territory. Like I would
Yeah.
rather have a Kyurem.
It's kind of just like okay.
I mean, it just gets you queued. So.
Yeah, literally. If you draft Sun, you are lying to yourself. I mean, Sun is fun. I had a lot of fun using that team. You're not having fun? That's lies. I encourage you to go watch my PPL run from last season and watch week 1 where I literally just clicked Raging Fury with Gouging Fire and then I put down the controller and I won the video game. That was an experience, so frick you. Yeah, Terror Raging Bolt's pretty good though, right? Like I see that thing always picked up in like on Showdown and stuff.
Yeah.
I always see a random Terra
Raging Bolt
Terra
is
Raging
one of
Bolt.
like I think it's one of the undisputed best 3 Terramons.
I think the funny thing with Terrapagos, like at the start, people were like, it's not that good, and then it went from like not being that good to like, oh my god, this might be like top like 10 Pokemon, and now it's kind of like down a little bit.
Is it?
I mean the perception I have is that like people aren't as high on it anymore.
I
like
think
people were like, oh my god, this Pokemon is like insane. To like,
there's no
Pokemon is fine.
mon more than Terrapagos that bends the meta. If you're in a matchup with Terrapagos, you cannot win until you've dealt with Terrapagos. Like, period. It doesn't matter if you set up 5 Shelf Smashes. You literally cannot win the game.
I mean, if you set up 5 Shell Smashes, you probably OHKO through the...
You want to fucking bet?
Alright, run the calc.
I'm running the calc right now. Blastoise.
Blastoise at +6.
At +6 to Terrapagos. Not the fucking baby.
Now that baby's cooked. That baby has no chance.
Okay. Surf to no bulk Terrapagos from max special attack +6 Blastoise only has a 25% chance to OHKO. So
If you have
you
any
have
bulk.
if you have
Yeah.
40 bulk,
Mm-hmm.
it never KOs.
I mean, but do you think always having to run boots on it is a problem? Like, would you consider that a
No,
problem, or?
I think it's fine. I mean, that's why it's the thing. It can either sit in the back and mean you just never lose to your opponent's win condition so long as it's in the back,
Mm-hmm.
or you get to lead it and do like other cool stuff with it and make it hold
Mirror
other
game.
items. Like it's like
I don't know.
Dragonite in that way. Like people are like, oh, it's better multi-scale, but it's kind of true. Like you can lead it. Like you can lead a Dragonite with a different item and it still has good value
The
in
only
that
sad
way.
thing is that the ability, because it makes everything not very effective, doesn't trigger weakness policy. Could you imagine if it triggered weakness policy?
Yeah, that'd be kind of crazy.
It'd be pretty fun. I'm curious as to know what Mounte's opinion on it is after like having used it for
I think he likes it a
a
lot.
season.
And also bear in mind how rare spin is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like spin is so valuable, and there's like 4 mons who get it, and
Yeah.
Tropicos is one of those 4. So I think it's top 10, like for certain. It can just outright win games too. And again, like we're looking at Sneasler, we're looking at Gouging Fire. These are mons that should probably be coming to like 90% of games. Terapagos should be
always coming.
100% of games. If Terapagos doesn't come to a game, you're throwing away your season.
I mean, a lot of people compare it to like Gen 6 Mew in the sense that like it can do anything, including just outright
but it does
winning the game.
certain things particularly well. It's a stopgap to an opponent. Like you should never be centering your entire team around it, I suppose, but like its existence will enable your offense by stopping theirs.
I mean, it probably is top 10, to be fair. It probably.
I don't know what's better than it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Chiyu as brain dead as it is, I think it's definitely a top 20 Pokemon.
I think it's
just because of the
it's probably still in like the Gouging Fire territory.
Yeah, just because of the raw like damage it can output.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's only super effective when it's Terran, but like normal is also like a very spammable move. And like isn't Terra Starstorm like 120 base power or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah, it's insane. Also, it's stronger than every coverage move.
Exactly. So, yeah. So unless it resists,
if you're facing like a Muck, Terra Starstorm is stronger than her Earth power.
Yeah, that's crazy. Unless it literally resists, then there's no point in clicking anything but Terra Starstorm. Fight me, I will. Yeah, Chiyu is just like brain dead kill Pokemon.
Yeah, Chiyu's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now I put Hisuian and Samurai, and this was low-key for like Thomas, because Thomas keeps telling me how this is like an insane Pokemon in Draft League, and I'm like, the fact that Samurai is in this conversation with some of these other Pokemon makes me feel a bit.
I don't know. I think Thomas needs to like, I don't know, lay off the
copium or whatever, right?
I don't know what it is. Like, I mean, Hisuian Samurai's actually like kind of on a downturn on the showdown scene right now, just because it's like so expensive and it's kind of tough to. It's still like, quite, and it still like checks a lot of boxes and is quite useful.
Yeah.
Is it a top 20?
I would say definitely not. I don't think I'd be picking this guy up. Like I get the Ceaseless Edge and like spikes are like super valuable and shit, but like I don't know. I would not put it top 20. I guess I would rather have any of these guys other than Samurai personally, I guess.
I think it's better than like Blood Moon, Urshifu, Raging Bull. Maybe it offers more than those guys. I think maybe it's kind of in the middle of those bonds that I'm looking at and not top 20. I think it is a bit overrated though.
Yeah.
That being said,
like it literally went round 1.
Points and got drafted in 3 of the 4 drafts in DCL.
For how many points?
It was 15 points. So it was more expensive than Enam. It was more expensive than Annihilate. It was more expensive than either Landorus. And it got drafted in 3 drafts.
But do you think that's because like in 8-mon it would?
It's just spikes.
Just better spikes. Yeah.
Awesome. People really like the spikes.
Yeah, fair. I would say like in a normal draft league, I don't know if I'm picking this guy up in like the first
No,
couple rounds.
no.
Like it
I
literally
think
went. Drew literally
run
picked it
mid.
up like round one. And it's not the first time I see it going like round one.
I've still yet to face a Hisuian Samurott in Draft League, period.
Really?
So, yeah.
That was me with what did I face? Oh, that was me with like Petrant, but it's not the same. But yeah, no, I think Samurot's a little crazy overhyped. I was never too big on this Pokemon.
It's like fine.
Yeah, it's
Like
fine, but like people
it
gas
does
it up
what
like
it
crazy.
does. But people saying it's like, I don't know.
People,
Like
not
broken.
people would have it like up here with these guys.
It's weak. It's good just because it spikes.
Hmm. And
If it
and
didn't have
again,
Ceaseless Edge, the mon would be like 9 points.
yeah, it's yeah,
If
people
you
need to
get
lay
that.
off a little bit on the copium, I guess. I'm gonna say an Amorous. I'm gonna put it in Fraud Watch just because it's still priced insanely high in like Wi-Fi draft leagues, and I don't know why. And I just heard you say that it was priced cheaper than Samurott in
I
Showdown,
mean,
right?
it's allowed to Terra on Showdown, so it got drafted everywhere, but people
Yeah,
Terra'd it.
Terra and Amorous is. I agree
But
that
like
Pokemon is crazy.
non-Terra was 14 points.
Non-Terra was 14 points. Yeah, that's crazy. Because I was literally helping. I don't know who I was helping the other day draft, and like they had an Amorous at like 17, 18 points out of like 20.
I mean,
I'm
I
like,
think like Amorous is like fine, but to say it's like top 10 is crazy.
yeah, that's why I'm putting on Fraud Watch because the way it's priced in Wi-Fi, is always like insanely high, and like it's I find it like very difficult to see the value there out of
That makes sense.
out of
It's
an
kind of
Amorous.
slow and clunky as well. Like,
Hmm. And like the fact that it tweaked to rocks as well, and then if you run Scarf, you're missing out on power. But if you're just Boots, then you're gonna be revenge killed because your space speed isn't that crazy. Like the
mm,
coverage it gets is pretty good, but with how fast everything is, you will always find Pokemon that can revenge kill this
yeah.
Pokemon. It's definitely. I mean, unless you are very against it, I would definitely have it in Fraud Watch because I think this Pokemon
Yeah, that's fine.
needs to
I
be
mean,
reality
I
checked
do.
a
I
bit.
think it's like kind of in the tier above as well. Yes, of course.
Yeah, I think
Um,
realistically this is where it should be,
but
but it's
if you're trying to make a
priced.
statement, then I can concur with the
It's
statement.
priced like next to these guys, and like that's crazy when it should be like here.
Someone says, Addy and JRicky, when are you guys going to do a battle stream against each other?
It wouldn't be
Great.
fair. I'd win too much.
So I want you all to go back in time and look up a video that was released in about 2021. It's the one and only time JRicky and I
I've actually battled.
have battled in Pokemon Draft League, and it is insane. So
It was
go
a
try
pretty
and
good
check
game.
out.
It was a
It was a
pretty
wild
insane
game.
game.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can eventually do like Ranbats or whatever one time.
Yeah.
If we ever want to. I maybe
If you
get.
have the guts to, yeah, if you have the guts to step up to me.
Oh, I absolutely do. Because
Oh, really?
I only get cooked by you when you're bringing you're luring me into traps and like beating me, and that's not fair. So
Would you call
Ranbats.
me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ranbats
Right.
I'd be the goat.
Of course.
1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have 6 Pokemon in top 10. There's some Pokemon that are definitely going to be going into top 10 there. I guess Bundle would be top 20. I've seen like very like polarizing opinions on Bundle. I know some people just don't like it at all because of Hydro Pump, and I've seen some people like really like very highly because it just is fast on court, and it gets like
It's
near
probably
perfect coverage.
funny. Like it's one of those things where it's probably like it's definitely worse than Shiyu for sure.
Hmm.
Like I think it's worse than all the mons we currently have in top 20.
Okay.
But I think it's probably better than all the mons we have in not top 20, so it's kind of a weird one.
No, I was gonna rate it a little. I mean, it was definitely still gonna be top 20, but just based on like the speed of it alone, I was gonna value it a little bit higher.
The speed is
Then-
good. The issue is again like similar to Ogerpon, like it doesn't really want to run boots,
Mhm.
but it kind of has to.
Yeah.
And then it's revenged by Scarfers. So it's always going to be in that kind of conundrum. And then also like yeah, like you said, like its main stab is inaccurate. And when you say like, oh, something's inaccurate, typically it's not, that alone doesn't make a mon bad.
Yeah.
Because like, you might think that I'm just saying you generally, like someone might say, oh, I'm the unluckiest player. I miss all my hydro pumps. I miss this and I never get anything good. Like, no. If you do draw like a statistical study of like all your draft league games in the past year and how often you've hit hydro pump, it's gonna be around 80%. Just how this thing works.
Yeah. Do you think?
Um
Do you
the
think?
thing is that people are afraid to click it because they think that they're gonna get unlucky,
Yeah.
and then the mod becomes bad.
Yeah.
So
No.
it's like
You have to click. Yeah.
you
If you
have
draft
to
this
be
thing, you
bold.
have to be
Like,
comfortable clicking Hydro Pump.
exactly. So like I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's worse than all the other mods in top 20 right now though, so I could see it dropping.
That's interesting. Do you think Bundle would be better or worse if it got like Surf?
I mean, it would be better for sure.
Yeah. They should give it something because I think the best thing is like Chilling Water or whatever it is.
Ryan.
Some some insanely weak move. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I would personally rate it like potentially like higher than Chiyu just because I guess they suffer like Chiyu also like doesn't love running boots and because it probably needs a scarf more because it's not fast and then Bundle gets like fast encore, but I can respect it. I mean, this isn't ordered in any particular type anyways in order, so it's fine. But yeah, maybe I because I use it in the BBRD league and I hit a lot of my hydros, so maybe that's why I look at Bundle in a higher way because I had pretty decent success with it.
Yeah. I think Hands is also bottom of top 20. Like it's
Yeah.
so broken. It's similar to Pult though. Like you have to have the skill ceiling for it.
Yeah, because
Like
I think
people who run like AV Iron Hands
yeah,
are
that's cringe.
terrible.
I think Iron Hands is the type of Pokemon that can basically, if you prep it properly, it can basically always go for like 2-for-1.
So it can always go 2-for-1. I also think Iron Hands is one of the best dedicated leads in
Yes.
the entire game. It's unkillable. It can run Custap to like get 2 KOs. It can run Weakness Policy. It can run Booster Energy. It can run like perfect coverage, like, and it will always win the 1v1 off lead.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, it's one of the best dedicated leads, if not the best dedicated lead in the entire.
Yeah, like you said, it has this skill, sort of like a very high like skill ceiling, but
If you're using it as like a defensive check to stuff, it's not that
it's
great.
pretty cringe. Yeah, no, I think using it as a lead and just going like 2-for-1 like right off the bat
Sword
is like
Dance
insane.
is like its best set.
Yeah.
Like Sword Dance. And if you're holding Custap Berry, you have to be like bold. You can't be like fucking like endure Sword Stance 2 attacks. You just have to be like Sword Stance 3 attacks and then trust that
Just
Iron
make
Hands
sure
is
that you
bulky
live.
enough.
Yeah, just EV
Iron Hands
properly.
is bulky enough to like end up in 25% because it's gonna take like 4 hits to take it down anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely better than all the Pokemon we have in not top 20, right?
Yes.
I would say at least from like.
It's definitely better than Annihilate, which I think is the easiest point of comparison.
Yeah. And no, Iron Hands is really good. Iron Hands is I like Iron Hands. I want to draft it sometime because I feel like it would be a Pokemon that I enjoy just because of that, just lead potential and just like weaken policy and just like the fact that you can go for 2-for-1 in such an offensive meta, I think is like insanely valuable.
Oh, it's huge. It's massive.
It's so good.
Oh,
yeah, Goldengo. I mean, it doesn't really have a place in this tier list either. Like it's just not top 20. It's just is what it is. There's not much.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
It's not much to it. Like I don't know. Like I think Goldengo is like insane if you like have it on like a Samurott team because it's like the best. Like you can't get defogged on. You can't get spinned on, and it's like
something I wish more people would do with Goldengo is use it as a Terra Captain. I feel like it actually has really good potential as Terra Captain, but people tunnel vision, they're like, oh, its type's already quite good.
Yeah, I was gonna say people like the typing is good and they don't want to get rid of that.
Goldengo has to be KO'd with very specific typings that kind of you can, if you flip it with a Terra, it creates these really crazy mind games, and then also like it just boosts its like defensive profile even more, so it can nasty plot, recover, just be like super fat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
like T-Wave hex sets. Like I was like on the ladder the other day I was playing, and just kept running into these T-Wave hex sets, and they were so freaking annoying. Because you don't want anything paralyzed, and then even if you do get paralyzed, you're taking like a strong ass hex. So,
I think it's
but
just a bit unexplored. Like I just think there's certain things you can do with it that haven't been
that haven't been
released
done
yet.
yet.
Yeah.
Can we get a DCL count check?
Patty, wasn't a King Gambit you used once in a draft called Power Bottom? What does that mean? Oh.
We're gonna leave it at all. If he asks, he's probably not old. He's probably not old enough to know. So I'm PG on my stream.
That's
Fuck.
a terrible mistake to have me on the
Fuck. Dick. Balls.
shit.
Cunt. Shit.
Hey, those are naughty words.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, chat. I won't do that again. I'm sorry, chat.
Be better. Be better.
Be better. Be better. Okay, so we have a lot of big boys coming up in the last few.
Yeah,
so
that's why I've kind of been like, ooh.
the best. We say the best for last. Roaring Moon. I actually want to know your opinion on it because I know everybody says that without Terra, this thing is a fraud, but I actually like Roaring Moon a decent amount.
Like, okay, I think it's decent. Do I think it's top 20?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I mean, maybe. I would rather have a Roaring Moon than like a bundle.
I was gonna say like I'd rather have a Roaring Moon than any of these guys that are not in top 20.
Yeah, Roaring Moon could be top 20. Yeah.
Right? It can if it's like pretty.
It is good. It's definitively good, and like it was in 16 points, and it got drafted in 3 out of 4 drafts. Like it's a good mon. Great speed. Knockoff is very spammable.
Yeah.
I would say top 20 for sure.
Yeah, I mean with Terra it becomes stupid good. But I think it's fine. Yeah. Okay, so now we get to the actual like real Pokemon. So thoughts on Darkrai? I actually want to know because is Darkrai usually allowed in like showdown stuff?
Yeah.
It is, right? It was allowed before Wi-Fi allowed it, right?
Yeah. No, it's always allowed, and I mean, yeah. So yeah, DCL comparison. It was drafted on all 4 drafts. It was picked in round 1 in every single draft. But it was picked like on the back wheel.
What was the price?
I'd say it's top 10 easily.
What was it priced at?
17 out of 19.
And it still got picked up like 4 times?
Well, it still got picked up 4 times, and it still got picked up during round 1. Because the reason is because Greninja and Masquerada are also round 1 picks. So right. I think Masquerada and Greninja are better than Darkrai. But
100%, yeah.
100%, but it's tight, and I think Darkrai is still good. It's just very fast.
Yeah, I think
it can spam strong moves. It can set up.
I think Dark Pulse being a little weak is
auto win games.
Kind of its downfall.
But it can auto win games
with Hypnosis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dark Pulse like being only 80 base power is a little weak, but you get a 30% chance to flinch, and because of how fast you are, you probably can't flinch. And then it does have like near perfect coverage. Even
it's
like
more about the coverage, right? So yeah. Like
Sludge Bomb,
like,
Thunderbolt,
Dark
Focus
Pulse
Blast.
Kind of weak, but Dark Pulse into like Ice Beam will KO a Zapdos or something, right? Or into Sludge Bomb will KO like I don't know, some fairy type. Darkrai is also interesting because like something really cool that I did with Darkrai during seasonal of Smogon, which was just like Smogon tournament, was I brought a special attacking Darkrai. But my issue with it is I kept clicking Dark Pulse and like a Scarf Keldeo would come in, and then I would be like, what do I do? It's a resist, and then it threatens with outspeed.
Yeah.
So what I was special attacking Darkrai with like Life Orb and everything, but I was knockoff instead of Dark Pulse, so that I could knock off the incoming Keldeo, and then I threaten the KO with Psychic.
With Psychic, yeah.
So like, there's cool things you can do with Darkrai. That's quite neat.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Thomas is calling for fraud, but I think Thomas is a fraud.
Okay, well, Thomas, what was Thomas's untake that Samurott was
Thomas's also opinion is that like Samurott is like an incredibly good Pokemon. Like He's trying to convince me it's like top 10 or whatever.
I
keep
think
telling him.
Darkrai is definitively top 10. I think it's probably worse than Meowscarada, but it's better than the other mons there.
It
Maybe
falls
it's
under the category of like Pokemon that should be coming to like every matchup.
it's top 10 for sure though, like without question.
Okay, I mean we can fit 3 more Pokemon into top 10, which I feel like is going to pretty much be
Fine.
exactly what we need because I suspect we're going to see some bans as well. Chomp, top 5.
Chomp definitely top 5.
Top 5.
I mean,
Chomp.
I'm literally already looking at the 4 mons they're gonna be in top. Oh wait, I see.
We're gonna do this and then I mean we'll get there in a second, but yeah, no, Chomp is the goat. Chomp's been the goat. SD scale shot, rock spikes, just fat, decent
Demon.
speed tier. It's just demon. You can never really go wrong with the Garchomp.
Valiant is easily top 1.
Valiant's the best Pokemon, 100%.
Valiant's the best mon, period.
Valiant is 100% the best mon. So.
Oh, sorry, we're going in order.
Yeah, I mean, we can go. But Valiant, everybody knows Valiant. I don't think there's anybody, and if there is, please let me know who they are so I can ban them from my chat. There's nobody who would argue that Valiant isn't the best Pokemon in the standard like Paldea decks, assuming other things are banned, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
What's your stance on Palafin?
I think Palafin's good. I don't think it's like top 5. I think it was like max
top
points in DCL, and it wasn't picked on every team. I think it's okay. I think it's either like at the bottom of top 5 or the top of top 10.
Okay. I mean, I guess we have to make a decision here then, because we need to put something in top 5. And I guess the question is,
well, DOS is going to go in top 5.
Well, that's what I was going to add. Well, I guess we don't have to. I guess we'll have to move something down after. But Spectre, would you call for a Spectre ban?
Spectre ban, absolutely.
Because of how unfun it is to play against? And just
no, it's not because it's unfun. It's because it's unbelievably broken. It's insanely broken.
It's just, I mean, it's not fun. It's unfun.
It is also unfun, but that's not the reason it's getting banned. It's
yeah. Obviously, it's not getting banned only because it's unfun.
And distorts the
It's
metagame.
unfun because it's broken.
Yeah.
I guess, right? Because like.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's dumb. It just makes Draft League unfun to play.
So it makes Draft League unfun to play, not just in like particular matchups, but it makes the
drafting.
Fun.
Yeah, exactly. The drafting part of it, like you have to be drafting like a shitty like normal type or whatever. You have to make sure you have like checks to.
I was forced to draft Ursaring.
Yeah.
In PPL, just because Spectre existed.
Yeah. There's probably like no other Pokemon that forces you
to draft. Mountay, who I'm gonna want to like probably beat to like win the league, has Spectre, so I have to have like a decent check. So.
Yeah, like there's no Pokemon that like forces you to draft a specific like, especially a suboptimal type, because normal types are just like meh, and Spectre is just so unfun to play against. Probably fun to use. Is it even fun to use? Because it's pretty like straightforward too. It's not like you can.
I don't think it's very fun. People are like, "What
Omega cook with it?"
I'm like, I guess this like weird calm mind.
Yeah, like ooh, look at me, I'm sub disabled or whatever.
Fun, yeah, I don't know, like taunt.
Yeah, like I'm like taunt.
Draining kiss. It doesn't seem fun at all.
No,
to be honest,
it doesn't seem very inspiring at all.
No, I'm not particularly inspired. If you ask me,
not very inspiring. Okay, so I was actually low-key expecting you to say that DOS should be banned.
No, DOS is fine.
Because I was gonna say it's not. I don't think it should be banned at all.
No, I think it's fine. It's a strong mon. It's definitely top 5, but it shouldn't be banned.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Good speed control, can set hazards, can set fast screens, can be really offensive in many different ways.
Too.
It's good.
It's good. Yeah, I should draft it once.
It's fun.
It's fun.
It's similar to Bolt. Like you have to have a high skill ceiling.
Yeah, especially because of the just crazy amount of EVs you're left over with, and like the sets that you can build. The set we cooked for Nexus for tomorrow was like Sash lead with like counter. Oh, and it cooked.
Great.
It cooked. It absolutely cooked.
DOS is weird because I don't think it outputs enough damage to make it worth having. That's because you're building with it wrong. Like if you're like Life Orb, it definitely does,
Yeah,
especially because you don't need to run a ton of speed. You can also just run Nasty Plot, like, and be bulky because again, you don't need to invest much in speed since you're faster than the entire meta.
exactly. Yeah, you're always running a boost in HN, and the Psycho Boost is extremely strong.
Psychic
And
Boost is
sometimes,
insane. Like
yeah,
anyone who runs Psychic on Deoxys is
that's what I
crazy.
like. When I was mocking for Nexus, like people kept being like Nasty Plot Psychic, and I'm like, this just
No,
doesn't scare me. And then I got into
no,
the game, and
only
Nexus was
Life
like
Orb Psycho
Psychic as
Boost.
well. Like
Also, the funny thing is clicking Psycho Boost twice
it
does
does
so
more
much more damage
than
than clicking Psychic
Psychic
twice.
twice. Yeah.
So like, in order for that to be worth it to ever run Psychic on Deoxys, it means that you have to be clicking Psycho Boost like 4 times in a row. I just
Versus
don't
like
think that's
Psychic 3
happening.
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would say yeah, run Psycho Boosts on your Deoxys. Just take advantage
Yeah.
of like its full, like insane high powered move. It's yeah, but I want to use Deoxys ones because it just feels like a fun Pokemon
Yeah, it's good.
to use. I remember you running like physically defensive with like Rocky Helmet, like week 1 of the PPL or whatever it
did,
was.
and
I
that
remember I mocked you for that game, and
that
it was a
Life
horrible
Orb for the rest of the
experience.
season.
It was a horrible experience when I mocked you for that game. No lie. Kept getting fucking chipped, and I couldn't kill that thing. Ugh.
Yeah.
Zamazenta's getting banned.
That's yeah. I mean, that's
I
above
think.
pull even. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just. I mean, Zamazenta Crown is an Uber.
I was
Like,
never okay with this Pokemon being allowed. Like, I don't know where that idea sort of like came from, where like, oh, we gotta allow this thing to because it's not that broken, you can't run it. This thing is just so unbelievably stupid.
Yeah,
Have you seen its stats even? Like, Jesus fucking
I
Christ.
I
A
am well
Pokemon
aware of its stats, given it just won me a championship.
literally a Pokemon with that stats distribution
Yeah, it's
should not be
crazy.
allowed ever. Like, I don't care if it's only one time boost on the defense or whatever it is, it just should not be allowed.
No, never.
No, it's so stupid. But we do have some tinkering to do because we've got these 5, and I think these 5 are like they're the
Those
top
5
5
are
Pokemon.
like for sure.
Yeah, these are like the 5 best Pokemon, I would say. We have an extra Pokemon in the top 10, so somebody from here is gonna have to.
I think there's an argument that Terapagos is a very coherent 11, in my opinion.
Okay.
That would probably be my nomination.
I would be between Treads and Therapagos for sure. It would be
Yeah.
between one of these two.
I think Terapagos is probably more consistent since Terapagos is, or sorry, yeah, Treads is a more consistent spinner because it's like knockoff, it's support, it gets its own rocks. Terapagos is nice, but it's kind of niche in its own right. So like you could really pair Treads with anything. Terapagos you kind of want to pair with certain types of things.
That's fair. Oh my god, is that a Rapid Strike over Single Strike Believer? Yes, can go 5 in this house. Yeah, the Rapid Strike's just better. Just better. And somebody had to say it. It's been time. Somebody has to say it.
I would
Would you say
I would put Terapagos at 11 for sure.
Okay.
Like if we're ranking it. And then, like, obviously we haven't filled out the top 20 with your picks, but I think Tinglu should be in the top 20, and probably Zapdos as well isn't on the tier list. So those should probably both be in the top 20.
Okay, you know what? Just hopefully there's nothing that shows up that incriminates me or anything, but Tinglu. What else would you say? Zapdos? Did you say Zapdos?
Tinglu and Zapdos are the two that
top
come
20?
to mind. I could be missing something, but both of those are like definitively top 20.
Would you say Lando T's top 20? Because
Lando T's probably
we don't
not
have
top
that.
20.
Whereas Bombardier? Yeah, we should add Bombardier to the. Maybe we should add Bombardier to the tier list. Can I choose this guy, and then can I choose? So you would say Tinglu's top 20, right?
I think Tinglu's top 20. I think Tinglu's probably like top 15.
Screen, is it? Yeah, it flashed black for a second. I'm not sure why. Okay, but do you think Zapdos is also top 20?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it means we would have to move something down.
I would probably move Bundle down. I feel like Bundle's like.
You think Bundle's a little?
That's my personal take.
A little fraud. A little fraudulent.
It's a little fraudulent. Like dies to vacuum wave.
I think Ting is
Tinglu's definitely like top 15. Arguably even like higher.
I guess it would be between Um, I mean, if you say, I'll respect it. If you say bundle is better than Zapdos, then I'll respect it. If you
Bundle is
rate
not better than well,
if you
you're
rate
comparing
as
apples
like
to oranges here, right? Like
yeah.
if you're talking about like speedy mons
Mm-hmm.
that are good revengers or good cleaners, like there are many mons that do that better. There's Gren, there's Meowscarada, there's Valiant, there's all these different things. Zapdos is kind of unique in the sense that it has a very unique defensive profile that no other mon really has.
That's fair. Yeah, because
So
that
it
we
has that level of uniqueness to it.
yeah we do take that. We have to take that into account. Of like, is there things that do what bundle does,
Yeah, what are
but
bundles
more
like? Bundle just
or
has a lot of
better?
faults. Like bundle could be really broken, but it does have some faults.
Is Iron Hands really better than Lando T? I mean, it depends, right? Because they're completely different Pokemon. Um, Lando T is really good at
I
like
think
roll
Iron
compression and
Hands
stuff.
is a really, really, really like underrated
I think so too. Whereas
mon.
Zarude, this is no Terra King L5, so without Terra,
Yeah, this is like Wi-Fi gaming
yeah,
hours.
this is Wi-Fi
We're
gaming.
we're
We're not doing Terra. We
we're,
we
we're
we
assuming
haven't we
full
haven't
Terra.
discovered we haven't discovered high tier Terra yet. We're working towards it
High tier
though.
Terra doesn't exist, unfortunately,
If you
in
want
the
me to Terra
straight
my Sinistra though, that guy is top 10.
Wi-Fi universe.
My Terra Sinistra, that guy is top 10. Top 10 on Terra Sinistra for sure.
Talk about a mon that walls Zamazenta crown. I remember when I was mocking for Shroom Raver for PPL semis, it just literally like it words sentences. Yeah, it was just hard walling Zamazenta. I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. So that means Zamazenta sucks then, right?
Mm,
Surely.
yes. Yes.
Surely. Okay, yeah, I thought so too.
How did you meet Addie? That's a great question.
I mean, we just literally played in a league together.
We just played in the league together.
Yeah, that was literally
And the end. And
yeah.
then we lived happily ever after.
And then that's
We got
basically our
married.
whole story. It's basically our
I
whole
rate
story.
Dragonite higher than a lot of these lower guys you have. I do too. I would rate Dragonite probably higher than any of these not top 20 folks. But I don't know if I would put it in the top 20.
We can slap it on the tier list. It doesn't
L5, this is purely conditioned based on like just what mons we've pulled out of our ass. So there's definitely
yeah,
some
there
mons.
wasn't yeah. We can
And
continuously add Pokemon.
on the PBL tier list, which I think is very funny.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
we you know what, we can go over the PPL tier list.
no, we don't have to.
If you want, that's something we can do. Shit.
But yeah, I think Dragonite's quite good. Dragonite and Lando T are probably the two that would also be on there.
Dragonite.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Dragonite and Lando probably are between top 20 and the tier like below, I would say.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's so funny that Libero Cinderace isn't even a consideration either. I love that.
I mean, I hate playing against Cinderace. I think that's the Pokemon I hate playing against the most. That
Cinderace
Pokemon
is
is
quite strong, actually.
yeah, it's so goddamn annoying to just play against. Like, I hate playing against that shit Pokemon. Dude, it's just like
Definitely not ideal.
yeah, I can never chip it because it's boots, and then Power Ball doesn't make contact, and then it's just like Power Ball's an insanely strong move as well, and then just like
Bad game.
high jump kick and gunk shit. Ugh, it's so annoying. But
I hate like the look that Lando T gives you in that image. It's like judgment.
it's like, yeah, it's like you guys didn't even put me top 20. That's disrespectful to my legacy. Cause low key, he used to be.
I think Lando T is a coherent like 21, but like yeah, I don't know.
It offers a
I
lot
guess
to a
we could
draft,
argue
right?
that
Like,
certain things in 20 might be worse than it. I don't know.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the main thing, what matters is the top 10 is what truly matters, and then the bans and the frauds. We need to know about the frauds to know exactly what would. Did Walking Wake fall off with DLC? I mean, yeah,
Not that great.
yeah, it's not. Even if you give it Terra, like it's fine, but it's definitely not a instant like round one pick like it used to, like people used to pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to pick
I'm
like
relatively
round one
satisfied
Wake with
here,
no
so
sun.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sad.
crazy. But yeah, I think this tier list looks pretty decent. I mean, I wouldn't. Top 10 is something I 100% agree with.
Yeah.
I 100%, and then I agree with the frauds, and I agree with the bans as well. So you know what? We cooked.
I'm so tired.
We
I
cooked.
gotta go to bed.
Yeah, I mean it's 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So, but we.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, they're not in any particular order within the tier. But I mean, I guess they almost are. They'll do something like this, and it'll be
Subconsciously.
yeah, very reasonable. Yeah, no, this looks like a pretty decent tier list. But thank you for coming and for giving us some of your time and knowledge.
Yeah, I know.
With the DCL stats, super helpful.
My knowledge is very
some would say your knowledge is indomitable.
And it's so indomitable. And my yeah, I'm so good. So I'm glad
that's basically it. Yeah.
Start learning my opinions and
yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. You can. I'll let you go to bed now.
I'm going to bed. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for having me on.
No worries.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, chat. Does anybody have some major issues with this tier list? Anybody feel like we got something very wrong? What do we think about the frauds? Are they all fraudulent? Do we agree with that? I think those guys are all fraudulent, and I think it's also important to have the conversation of rapid strike is better than single strike, because a lot of the Wi-Fi folks will absolutely. I have an issue. You made it. Okay. Well, frick you. Good night, C-Kip. Have a good night, and thank you for stopping by the stream. I hope to see you around. IDK about Iron Hands. I've never used it, Petra, but honestly, it's a Pokemon that I really do want to use, just because, again, I think being able to go 2 for 1, Heart Flame, I think is legit. Well, Addison, I don't know much about the Ogre Ponds, but Addison was saying that the Heart Flame was probably the worst out of all 4 Ogre Ponds, and because of that, I decided to put into Fraud. But I don't really have an opinion on Heart Flame, to be honest. I don't really, considering it's like no Terra. I didn't really have much of an opinion on it. I trust United, but it's just like above mid tier to me. I think if you haven't tried it yet, Petra, I think give it a try and then see, because I think its bulk and just like ability to tilt the early game in your favor is insane. Chiyu's low-key a fraud. I don't think so. I don't think a Pokemon like Chiyu can realistically ever be a fraud, because you're just killing things most of the time. And it's like, it's not the most inspiring Pokemon of all time, for sure. But it's also not a Pokemon that you'll be like, oh, I'm super disappointed that I didn't do what I wanted to do. You just have to just literally click buttons. Honestly, most of the time with Chiyu, just run fucking specs. Like, why need to outspeed something if you can just bring it in and just kill something? That's kind of my idea. Maybe it's wrong. I don't know. We're all constantly learning, chat. And that's it. As long as we understand that we don't know everything and we're open to other people's opinions, then it's all in good fun. We're just all trying to improve. Yeah, I might try it out eventually. I want to try out Raging Bolt more, though. I haven't drafted it yet. I think Raging Bolt with Terra is, like, stupid. I think Raging Bolt with Terra is insanely stupid. Without Terra, I guess it's still fine, but I don't rate it as highly. But if you can grab it with Terra, then I did like Chiyu when I use it on a Vault turn offensive team. That's what I'm saying. I think if you put Chiyu on a team that can get Chiyu in for free and you can just click buttons with like specs, I don't think Chiyu can be bad. I think like Chiyu, like I think Scarf Chiyu is low key a little bit of a throw. Because like just run specs or whatever and just like actually kill something. I think it's underrated right now. I would honestly agree. I see Chiyu getting a lot of flack because it's not the Pokemon that can do a million different things, but I think Chiyu is good. But to deal damage, yeah, even if it's literally just like a wall breaker, then just have something alongside it that can like take advantage of it breaking everything, then that we're vibing. Hey, thank you for the 3-month membership for my goat. Hopefully we'll go back to the Pokemon Y soon. You know what? Next week we might end up streaming that. I didn't know what to stream today per se, and I just felt like wanting to do like a tier list, and I was like, shit, fuck it. And then Addison wanted to join. I was like, all right, we're game. We ball. I ran a lot of Boots defensive Terra. Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, she has like an insane Spadef stat as well, so you can definitely make that guy walled by Dash Bun. Yeah, until you realize that like Spec Psychic like 2-hit KOs anyways. That's insane. Dash Bun is a bigger fraud than Chiyu will ever be. But yeah, a lot of people forget like Chiyu has like an insane Spadef stat, so you can actually make that guy like take hits. Especially with Terra, you can make it like Terra Fairy or whatever, then I can see you getting a lot out of it. Urshifu might be the biggest fraud of all time. I mean, yeah. I think Urshifu is only, I assume you're talking about the single strike one. I think it's only a fraud. Like considering the expectations people have of it, of like last gen it was absolutely stupid broken and would just kill everything, compared to like this gen where it's just a little too slow. Wicked Blow got nerfed. There's Pokemon that do what it does but better. Like obviously if we're tearing it, it's a different conversation, but I think yeah, a conversation needs to be had of Urshifu single strike might not be that good, and Rapid Strike might just be like straight up better. Might just be straight up better. No freaking cap. No freaking cap. But yeah, but that's the tier list chat. It was fun. I love doing tier lists. I don't know if I eventually make this. I might make this into a video if I can edit it down enough, or maybe not. But that's gonna be fun. Anyways, Rapid Strike Gang. That's what I'm saying. Rapid Strike Gang for sure. I think the Wi-Fi scene isn't ready for that conversation, but it needs to happen. Bang, bang, bang. Triple surging strikes. Just bang, bang, bang. The fact that Punching Glove works on it, but not Urshifu single strike is also like hilarious. I think both in draft without high tier Terra kind of struggle, but Rapid is decent. Yeah. Especially because I don't know how other leagues are doing it, but I usually see Rapid Strike cheaper than Single Strike. Like in PPL, Rapid Strike was an A tier and Single Strike was an S tier. And I know everybody lost their shit when they were when like the drafts were shown and like they were too rapid, like Urshifu was running around. It does, yeah, I think it does work on Wicked Blow. I might just be like super tired. I saw you and Owen were talking about the Urshifus on the podcast as well, and I was like, yeah, like everybody lost their shit when like Urshifus were like drafted. Like, oh my god, how are these things allowed? And it's like they're just not that good. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I miss Ultra Beast and Tapus. Yeah. Hopefully when that like NatDex mod comes out for Wi-Fi, that shit's gonna be crazy if that ends up happening. I don't know how that would happen, but that's just gonna be crazy if it happens. Shit is going to be crazy. Yeah. But I think that's been like a 2-hour stream chat, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. It is 1 a.m. and I do need to go to bed, so I think I'm gonna call it there. Anybody have any last remarks on the tier list? Tapu Koko is breaking the game. I mean, Tapu Koko is always the GOAT. Tapu Koko's always been the GOAT. I played that shit and it's hell. What, the like the Wi-Fi mod or just like NatDex? Because NatDex, I don't like playing NatDex because it's just too much. Honestly, I don't like playing NatDex. It's too much. You got fucking Megas and Paradox Pokemon and Ultra Beasts and like terrains and shit, and it's just way too much for my brain. Like, no, I don't find NatDex enjoyable at all. You think Darkrai is top 10? Probably. I mean, yeah, I think so. I think a lot of the hate Darkrai gets is like very, very unjustified. Coco Iron Moth seemed fun. Yeah, that seems AIDS actually, not fun at all. But yeah, no, I do think Darkrai is pretty strong. I think it gets a lot of unwarranted hate. I think a Pokemon with that fast, with that coverage, with the hypnosis that can like literally tilt the game, I don't think that Pokemon can ever be like truly bad. I might have to draft it one time just to figure out if it's actually bad or not. But I would say top 10. I would say it's a round 1 pick for sure. I think the top 5 is hard to argue against. But honestly, finally end of the draft. Jesus Christ, only took us a million. But maybe we can get scheduled like released over the weekend. That'd be pretty sick. Pretty sick. But yeah, chat. If you haven't liked the stream, like the stream. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then freaking subscribe. And if you want to go the extra mile to help your boy out, then you can become a channel member. Jump in, call, and we can argue. No, Thomas, I'm not arguing with somebody who thinks Hisuian Samurai is like top 10. I'm not doing that. Meow might be better than Chomp. I don't know. No, I think Chomp is unbelievably good at just doing so many different things. But I love to see the Meow recognition because I've loved using it this season. I think Meow never has a bad matchup. I think his speed is insane. Coverage insane, and the fact that I got it as an A tier is nasty. But honestly, looking at the Pokemon that are in like top 10, I don't think any of those are like not top 10, top 20. Said best round 2 pick. That's still like top, like within the top 20. So, which would not make it top 10 at all. I mean, even top 20 is crazy work. Is crazy work. Bandit is so nasty. For real. Like, when I ran Triple Axel on Meow and I just killed everything, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Hilarious. But yeah, I am gonna call it there, chat. Says the guy with Gren in top 5. Are you trying to say Gren isn't top 5, Thomas? What kind of bad opinion is that? Chat, can we scold Thomas for saying that Greninja's not top 5? Scarf Meow is the tech. I ran that against Nexus and it was absolutely the tech. Chat, can we tell Thomas how wrong he is? My friend brought itemless scissor once to switch into banded Meow. Probably still not great. It is definitely not. It definitely isn't top 5, Thomas. Okay, you are out of your goddamn mind. You are out of your mind. You are so unbelievably out of your mind. It's insane. Also, Iron Treads in top 10. You're smoking? Dude, what? Who would you put above Iron Treads? Who would you put above Iron Treads? And who would you put over Greninja? I think the Greninja opinion is like crazy. The Iron Treads, we can have an argument for it, but the Greninja one is, to me, is ludicrous. I think you haven't used Greninja, that's why you say it isn't top 5, but once you use Greninja, you will see this bitch is top 5. This thing is insane. I was hating on Treads before this PPL season. Yeah, even the first 2 weeks I hated it. But now I've completely changed my view on it. I think it's an insanely good pickup because of like the roll compression as well. Like I would not say any of these Pokemon are like above it at all. Once you use Greninja, Thomas, you will concede. I miss tier 2 torrent. Yeah, back in like Gen 6, that's what we used to have. We used to have like tier 2 Greninja with fucking torrent. That's insane. Greninja's absolutely one of my favorite monster drafts. And I think in Gen 9 is the best it's ever been, to be honest. I think this gen is the best Greninja has ever been. I mean, it's fine. It's not that serious. Granted, I might change on, but Treads, there's no way. All right, then what Pokemon in top 20 would you say is better than Treads? I don't know, so we can have this discussion. Maybe I'm biased because I'm using Treads and I really enjoy it, but there's not many Pokemon on this. Like what? Maybe like Terrapagos? I think the only argument I would potentially make would be like maybe Terrapagos is better than Treads. Like maybe something like this. What background music is this, Eli? I have no idea. This is literally just a fucking like lo-fi Pokemon radio station that just has like nostalgic music playing like 24/7. It's wavy. Yeah, it has no business going this hard. It's balanced to run both abilities. Yeah. I think Greninja is insane. Gouging Sneasler. Okay. You're just yapping. Yapping. You're just yapping now, Thomas. Gouging Fire, absolutely no way. Sneasler, absolutely no way. Rapid Strike, no. Hands, no. Terrapagos, maybe. Tinglu, depends what you want your ground type for. Tinglu cannot do what Iron Treads can do. It cannot spin. It cannot be a steel type. It cannot Volt Switch. Petra's out here not saying that Iron Hands is not top 20. You want to put it in top 10? You're crazy. I think Gouging Fire is the typical Pokemon where it's like, ooh, this Pokemon do damage, must be good. And it's like, it's fine. Sneasler is also okay, but not like that. Who's arguing for hands round 1? Who's arguing for hands? Treads is never considered as a round 1 pick, then people should start considering Treads as a round 1 pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you literally have 10 Pokemon here. So let's say a standard draft is like 16 Pokemon. You're telling me Treads is not going round 1? That's crazy. Thomas might be trolling Petra. He might be trolling for real. Well, wait, so, like, does top 20 mean most are round 1 picks, or does it mean in general? It just means, like, these Pokemon are good, but they don't break into the top 10. I guess that's what it means. Like, Iron Treads isn't a round 1 pick. Well, what in top 20 here are you taking round 1 over Treads? Let's say you're 14th in a draft. What in this? Have you ever seen a Treads go round 1 like ever? Yes, I have. Absolutely. But I'm still waiting for you to say what in top 20 would be drafted before Treads in a round 1. The list is based on point value. It's not only based on point value. It's based on what a Pokemon can do. If there's other Pokemon that can do what it does. I'd take Gouging over Treads round 1 if I had the option. But like, Gouging, like if you want, like Gouging is the type of Pokemon that you're like, oh, I want to pick this Pokemon because it's fun. Not because it's like, oh, I'm going to pick this Pokemon because I need this roll and this roll and this roll and this roll. Like Gouging Fire is literally just a luxury pick. I think Gouging Fire is like a luxury pick, as where like Treads is like a Pokemon that you grab, like this Pokemon is important to my team. Found the song. It's Route 6 Lo-Fi by Snivies. It was very vibey. It was very vibey. Boom, boom. But yeah, I mean, I could argue Terrapagos over Treads. I don't think anything else I would take over Treads, to be honest. Because I think what Treads offers you, nothing else can give you what Treads can. Nothing else can do what Treads can do. I would definitely say Treads is top 10, though. If not top 10, then it's like 11th, 12th. If I was to put this in order, shit, I don't even know what I would do. This guy would go towards the end. This guy would go towards the end. Donphan over Treads, that's a base take. I know I'd probably do something like this for top 20. Okay, where's Donphan then? Has the same utility, except it doesn't, because it's not the steel type. It doesn't have base 106 speed. It doesn't have volt switch. Like, it's just not the same at all. It's not even remotely close. Donphan is closer to Fanphi than it is to Iron Treads. That's all I'm gonna say. Donphan is closer to Fanphi than it is to Iron Treads. Name the amount of times you ran Volt Switch on it. I mean, just because I haven't ran it on it over a 7-week season doesn't mean it can't run it. Donphan has one thing over Treads, and that thing is my heart. Honestly, when I was younger, like, Donphan was like one of my favorite Pokemon as well. I remember seeing that guy in the anime, and I was like, oh, that's sick. Donphan also has priority. Yeah, Ice Shard. Might be the worst priority the Donphan can have. If you're running Ice Shard on Donphan, you've already lost. You want so many other moves. It doesn't even have Rapid Spin. Oh, that's so sad from Fampi. It does get like Endeavor. It does get like Endure Ice Shard. Wait, when did Terrapagos and put it back? That's what I'm saying, Eli. I'm just having this argument with Thomas of like the only thing I could see potentially being top 10 over Treads is like Terrapagos. But I wouldn't put it. I think Treads is top 10 for sure. Ice Shard is based, I guess. I guess it can be based. But yeah, these guys I maybe are like in this order. I'm not gonna order these guys here. And then these are frauds for sure. Fraudulent activity. Was it you I was helping draft, Thomas? Where like Enamorus was like 18. No, it was like, I think it was like Pokebaldi or something. I think it was like Pokebaldi who had like Enamorus, who was drafting, and Enamorus was like 17 or 18. I think you can argue gouging top 10. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I'm not too convinced by it. I'm not super convinced by it. I think gouging is tough because it's like gouging is like a luxury pick. I had a lot of fun when I drafted it on Sun, and like I think Sun makes it insanely stupid because I would just click Raging Fury and then put down the controller and just kill everything. It was pretty fun, but I'm not super convinced about it being like top 10. But it is a valid opinion. The only opinions who aren't fully valid are like Thomas's. Anyone can and does argue anything? Exactly. You could literally think that like Houndstone should be banned, and that's fine. But in reality, that Pokemon's a fraud. That Pokemon is a fraud. Okay, but this time for real, I'm gonna go because it's 1:30 a.m. and I have to do things tomorrow, so need to start being responsible. But yeah, thank you for coming out to the stream, chat. I appreciate it. Leave a like if you haven't left a like. Subscribe to the channel if you somehow aren't subscribed, and become a member if you want. You can become a member, but yeah, I hope you look forward to the battle on Sunday. We're taking on Gravy, and we're fighting for our life in playoffs. And I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I guess if you guys want to do the fucking thing yourself, there's a tier maker. There's the list. There's the link to the tier. It has all my tiers on there, so you can like play around with it if you want, and potentially tweet it at me. Send it on to me on Discord. But with that being said, thank you once again, and I will see you all next freaking time.